I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm, I'm, I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
And hello everybody, welcome back to another rendition of Kunoichi Kosmos. Now with the Cosmos, here we are. I'm Anevo, joined by the wonderful Nerdy Bird, and we are here to start things off on a really high note. Gonna be opening up with the North American Rising Division. Of course, that's our Diamond and One Below players. And in case anyone doesn't really know what Rising means.
Hello, I'm super excited to be watching both of these teams, but for me, this is my first experience with them, whereas for you, according to at least how much hype you were talking before the broadcast, you know both these squads very well, so if you want to hype them up a little bit and share what you know, I mean, I would greatly appreciate it.
Oh, I got you. I mean, we had just played in Calling All Heroes in Minor 2, if I recall correctly, and I went against, we went against Lava Lilies Rising, a phenomenal EU-based team, so it's quite late for them. So hopefully in this first two series, they do start, they ramp it up in a really great fashion. But on the other side of things, Kaiju Corps' KCMX, they are also a monster in their own right. I mean, also having placed, I want to say, 4th or 3rd in the recent minor from Calling All Heroes, and Lava Lilies also having a great placement as well. I mean, both these teams are absolutely amazing in their own right, but at the same time, it could go absolutely either way. Kaiju Corps, honestly, very consistent in their division, in their comps, and as a team as well. I mean, Felix Felicia is very phenomenal on that diva, as well as Azaria, if we ever get to see her play those two characters. Saturn and Sandbox God will of course be on that DPS duo, and the backline will once again be held up by Tangerine and Hollow Can't Aim, who absolutely can aim, by the way, on that Lucio. So I'm super excited to see how Kaiju Corps is going to be going into Lava Lilies' team.
All right, we can take a quick look at the Lava Lilies lineup as well. That full 5-person squad that's going to be coming in is Caramel, Sorry, Pasta, Tycho, and Queen Bee. I have faced up against the Lava Lilies lineup previously at the very beginning of the summer series. So with that in mind, I'm excited to see the improvement from then to now. I know that most recently, as you mentioned, they did do significantly better, so excited to see what they bring to the table. I really want to be watching this backline, especially because Queen Bee opting to show us that your favorite character is Brigitte. If I get to see some good Brig play, my heart will be extremely happy, especially because, I know right before the current balance patch which went through, everyone was wanting to run, the Juno Brigitte composition, but now that's not as powerful, especially with the change with the Hyper Ring, because supposedly its interaction with D.Va was a bug. I mean, with how fast D.Va was able to go, it did seem a little bit like a bug. We'll we'll chalk it up to being that. But if we do end up seeing that combo nonetheless come out from this squad, possibly on the Clash mode, that would be super cool, and I'm excited to see what Queen Bee brings to the table.
I hate to burst your bubble, but B, although phenomenal on that Brig, also so well known for that Ana. So I will also be expecting Taiko to be on that Juno, be on that Ana as well, with Pasta on that Diva. I mean, the Juno, Ana, and Diva composition is a little bit newer, but big fan of it. Super big fan of the Ana now coming into the fray. We had seen the Juno Brig for, you know, quite a while now, previous to that aforementioned patch you had mentioned regarding, you know, Diva being bugged with the speedering. Bugged. You know, and you know what? I'm glad it got patched out. You know, having a Diva fly at me for 4 hours wasn't the most fun thing in the world. So, but there's still such a strong comp, and you know, we've been seeing the Ramatra and the Juno really come into fruition as well. The Diva Juno is a classic at this point, but also especially in the high level play of Overwatch CS, we've also been seeing the Malga have returned. Maybe the Orisa being whispered about, making a resurgence in the meta, which is a little bit scary. Don't want that horse coming back. And if she comes back, it might be a sad day for many of us around here.
I'm sorry, I'm a fan of the Battle Cattle, and the funny part is, I'm a SIG player, and I love seeing when Orisa comes back into the meta. If there is a tank that, like, I feel like deserves a little bit more love here and there, it's the Battle Cattle, because when she is in the fray, she is here for a minute, and then all of a sudden, it's like what we do to Genji. We throw her back in jail, lock it up, and throw the key into the ocean, because I feel like Orisa has not had her day in so long. Let me have my Battle Cattle back, please.
The Genji stray. Whoa, what a nerf Genji though. But on all seriousness, lots of things can happen here, and Lava Lilies is, like I said, they are going to be going for that Juno and that Ana backline with the Diva, especially on something like, well, for example, for round 1, of course, we are going to be seeing the transition over to Busan for our first map of the day on Control, which has a good amount of leverage on that high ground, especially in downtown. But when you go over to Mecha Base, we are going to be, well, more than likely going to be seeing that Brawl come back, which is where Ramatra may be coming, maybe making a comeback in the stream to see later. But, you know, I really want to talk for a second about Ilios, but I forgot that's round 2, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But let's talk about Busan for a little bit.
Well, okay, so Busan, I feel like when it comes to the control point maps, puts you in a very unique situation, because I feel like despite, like, regardless of where the meta currently stands, Busan represents a unique opportunity to play very drastically different comps on all 3 of the points. Because you go to Sanctuary, you can play more of a spam, or you can play like an untouchable composition revolving around a Wrecking Ball on that map. You play downtown, you definitely want a map that's centered around like a Diva or a Winston. However, we've still seen teams force the Jotes or the Ram Rush comp on that map, and then you transition into Mecha Base, and that's where you can get the hardcore OG brawl stomping compositions. You could even pull out a Reinhardt on that map. We see Ram Rush, Jotes. You can walk in on a Malga if you feel like it on that map. That's why I absolutely adore Busan as a starting point. I mean, yes, later on in the stream today, we'll get to see Ilios, and you'll have your opportunity to talk about that. But I love Busan.
I'm a big Busan fan. Wait, huge Busan fan around here. Don't get it twisted. Of all of the 3 map types we do have, or not even 3, sorry, there's 5 rounds, duh. Of the 5 rounds we do have for Control for today, of course, my favorite will have to be Ilios, but Busan, I'm sorry, not Ilios, sorry. My favorite has to be Busan, first and foremost. Second most is Ilios, because I do love Ilios a lot. But Busan is it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna set the pace. It's definitely gonna be setting the pace for the rest of these matches, which, by the way, it's first to 2, like I had mentioned previously. So these will be going by very quickly. The adaptations that our players have to make have to be on the fly here. They can't dilly-daddle for too long. And, you know, if you're too patient, you're gonna just get rolled over. If you're not patient enough, you might expend too many resources. It's just a weird little, we got a little pause, but it's okay. It's a weird balance you have to have with being aggressive but not over-aggressive, and being patient but not passive.
Yes, and what we would refer to that as just understanding your tempo, or as other coaches and myself have put it in the past, it is understanding your sine wave. And that is what type of composition you have determines how your wave of movement and your wave of using your utility should work out for your team. So like you have a Sigma comp. Sigma comps will thrive on extended long fights. That's because their sine wave goes up. It's really slow, but when it hits that peak is insanely high. And then it has another slow down all the way to a really, really low point, and it comes back up. That is why Sigma comps are really awesome, but you have to learn how to play for a long fight and learn how to play like a hard tug-of-war game. When you have Brawl, it is like a super sharp incline almost to your top of your sine wave and a very steep decline down to the bottom of it. And so if your whole team is not together at that apex point, that is when you get exploded from the inside out, because your sine waves are not lined up to have like the maximum capacity of output. But if you don't clean the fight up at this point in time, when you start going down, that is where you get messed up. And so that's why each composition has like, there's a safety net in place for most of them, but they're also very easy to get punished, because if a team recognizes, hey, they're on their down trough, so to speak, that is when they want to strike, and that is where teams start to really struggle, is using their sine waves too quickly, or not recognizing when they need to get out of a fight because their sine wave is on its downstroke.
Yeah,
that's my soapbox.
Hey, it was good to listen to. Free coaching, guys. And hopefully the players do take that into consideration where, okay, we both have Juno Speed Ring, but do they have a Juno Ana or do we have a Juno Break? What's the difference in that composition? What is the difference in that backline? Can we sustain long enough? Can we sustain longer? Or do we have to go in quick and fast and make sure they just explode, you know? And that's the benefit of that Ram Brawl with the Juno Ana, for example. Not so Juno Ana, Juno Break, for example. Whereas, you know, the Diva, you'll see her a little bit more with that, still with Juno Brig, but also with that Juno Ana, and that allows for a lot more space to be taken up, a lot more leeway for your Diva to just kind of go in, kill somebody, and come back out, because she's such a fast tempo character, where, you know, a team fight can flip so easily. And Diva, large sustain, lots of armor, and she had basically not one but two lives, that being Baby Diva, and her survivability can be very monumental if you can keep her up enough in order to get that remake. And as well as just, you know, Diva Bomb, at this point, not quite being a defensive ultimate, not defensive, being an offensive ultimate, being more defensive in order to, again, resustain yourself, get yourself back in that fight, and also clear this space. Get away from me. If you get near me, you're gonna explode. So, again, the two different compositions we could be seeing here, I am expecting the Diva versus the Ram mirror, the Diva mirror. I'm really expecting those two tanks to be dominating today, but we did kind of see a little tease. We saw the ball from Pasta, and just for a second, and every single time I see this, I get a little hopeful, a little flutter in my heart that there's gonna be something wacky going on.
Well, okay, so Wrecking Ball compositions, I love and hate them as someone who centers their life around playing tanks and also playing support. No offense to DPS players, but I like being the bookend character, so I'm either frontline or I'm in the very back, and I'm like, if I die, the game's over. But in those moments where, like, seeing a Wrecking Ball, I'm like, okay, are we gonna have a Tracer? Yes, we have the Tracer, so that means this is like the ultimate epitome of like thriving on chaos composition. But instead we're going with the Sigma, which, I mean, transitioning to the Sigma, this composition stays the same with everybody else, but that just means your Sigma creates space, your Tracer produces the off angle to allow your Sigma to continue to go in, whereas your supports plus your Ashe are typically going the opposite direction, like they'll take Drum or they'll go to the opposite area, but Drum is slightly higher elevation, but your Ana and that core group go over there, whereas your Sigma and Tracer create an off angle pressure that still, like, has line of sight from the support line, while your Ashe does damage and the follow-up goes from your tank and your Tracer on the damage from the Ashe. It's a fun comp. It's a dangerous comp, though, because if you don't have your rotations right and you aren't standing in the right spots, you will literally blow up. And if you're going in too quickly, again, you'll blow up. Because you have a Sigma, you have to go really slow. I love Sigma for that reason, but I know people cannot stand patient gameplay sometimes.
I can't lie, I actually love when there was like the Sigma poke brawl, like, kind of, you know, composition that was happening for a little bit in the meta. Like, I loved it. Everyone's like, I hate Circuit, I'm tired of Circuit, what a dogly badly designed map. And I'm like, I get to just,
I love Circuit.
Sigma gets to go over there and, like, live, and I just go with my bat bullets, and you're living, and then we win. I love Sigma poke and brawl. I love both versions of it, and it's so good. But I understand why some people aren't patient enough for it, and especially if you are so honed in on that brawl mentality, you naturally want to just kind of go. You know, sitting too long, you start to twitch a little bit, start to get a little bounce in your leg. You know, your eyes twitching, you're just too slow for you. And for brawl, it's just like you just go right in, and hopefully you don't explode. And that's a slight difference, I feel like, with a lot of players who pick up, or a lot of teams who pick up brawl and can play brawl versus teams who excel in brawl. If you can pick up and play brawl, well, yeah, anyone can. You know, you all kind of just go in and, you know, really just go at it. But it's such a small margin of error, or a small like line you have to cross, where either you're just going in without thinking, without planning, without fight planning, without ult tracking, and then you die, and you're like, oh my god, why I die? And other brawls are much more sustainable. They think things through, but they're also still going out on that aggressive side. So again, so many of these like different comps being played at like such different levels and with such different people at the end of the day, different people behind those monitors playing those characters. It's so interesting to see what the flexibility is per team, per player, per person. It's very entertaining to see.
I also am wanting to see, like, because we did not see a Sigma mirror on that map, and out of the 3 Busan maps, obviously I feel like this one is the most Sigma friendly. And again, I'm just any excuse for a team to play Sigma, I'm here for it, which is why Circuit Royale not being like an instant in the pool always makes me sad. I get it, like you said, people don't want to always play that patient play, and also I've seen people go Ramatra on Circuit Royale into a Sigma, so I'm also on the same mind of like, well, you don't have to go Sigma on Circuit Royale, evident by some of the things we have seen in some upper level gameplay, but I digress. I didn't see the Sigmir, and so that could be either a really good thing or a death sentence to either squad. There's a very real possibility that one team walks out, sees the opposite comp, and just goes, no, and turns around and just decides to change everything out. I've seen that happen. I actually believe it happened during the last Kunoichi Crushed event. We had our tank walk out on one of the maps and just be like, yeah, no, this is not it for me, and turned around and changed comps. I think it happened on King's Row. So it happens, but instead we're going to Mecha Base, and we do see Pasta is going to be on the Ramatra, and we also have Felix Felicis on that Ram as well. So a double matchup. We're seeing exact mirrors, except Saturn is trying to give a speed boost out the gate, I think, and is then going to opt for the Tracer, or are we just not even going to go with the teleporter? I mean, like, I'm always here for a teleporter strat. Optimize the time you have. Looks like we're not having a TP, and then the other thing is we have the maze. We gotta be careful of the walls coming out from Lava Lilies.
Absolutely, and now we're also seeing the Juno and the Lucio from Kaiju Core rather than the Juno Brig, Juno Ana that Lava Lilies would be utilizing today, that being Taiko and Queen on that backline. And already starting off, it's gonna be Kaiju Core who's invading the case of Lava Lilies. And already the purple is huge from Queen Bee as always, and it allows Lava Lilies to start going in and then play a little patiently. Of course, it's gonna be Sandbox God, gonna be dinking those heads and forcing Sari to back out a little bit, retake the aggression, and go back to that little poking phase. Lava Lilies just constantly getting pushed back, but there's the wall you were talking about earlier coming from Caramel. But looks like no one's really able to follow up on that wall off that, that Felix was gonna face for a second. Gonna be seeing Sandbox God go down towards the objective first and foremost, and we're gonna be seeing it be captured for Kaiju Core first, but finally, Sari finds Hollow can aim in the fray, and the team fight is still happening regardless of the fact that we have lost the objective.
Well, the thing is, we've opted to put our Cassidy down on low ground, which is going to be a death sentence for our supports or our tank. However, our tank, Felix Feliz, is instantly getting the annihilation, opting to pop it right then. So what went wrong was not recognizing we are in a 4v5, and so KC, they got overly zealous. And we ended up losing our Lucio, and then we lost our Juno, and that's because our cast isn't there to protect them or create pressure to keep our tank alive. Lava Lilies instantly had the advantage when Cassie decided to go low ground, so they played for a little bit longer fight, and it was very successful. That's why we have point on lock. We did end up burning Pulse Bomb, but here comes the Blizzard.
And the Blizzard does in fact find Felix Felicia's Tangerine, going to be opting to expand the orbital ray for themselves, for the team here. But again, Lovely looking so calm and collected, especially with the Nano expanded on Pasta there. Only using the Blizzard, only using the Nano is humongous for Lovely's, as Kaiju Core has expended a Pulse and the Juno ult and the Annihilation earlier.
We are going to be coming up on a beat by the end of this fight coming out from KC, but then also we have this Deadeye. Deadeye can be either used as a zoning ult. However, if we combine it with our speed amp and maybe our full form coming out from our Macho with arms up, we could theoretically get a lot of damage. As we hear it getting procced, Sorry will be the one to be eliminated, but we did also lose our Lucio, so there goes another round where we're not going to get a beat out for KC.
A beat out, speed out, anything. And again, the anti-nade from Queen Bee, absolutely monumental, gets thrown right on top of Felix Felicius. But look at this, Tangerine and Saturn just kind of clearing the entirety of Lava Lilies in the back side of things. Sorry finds their one, but it's all for nothing as a point flips back towards Kaiju Core.
Okay, so we should theoretically get our beat up during this fight here coming from Holo. Unfortunately, dying so quickly twice in a row really is disadvantageous to trying to get that beat online. Now, we do have Pasta with his Annihilation ready to go. Saturn has Pulse, but that means Queen Bee needs to be careful. We're going to use that Ravenous Vortex and get in. Saturn, will you have a good stick here?
An even better advantage state coming in from Kaiju Core. The Annihilation from Pasta will be able to bring levels a little bit back into this fight, but with Saturn able to kind of clean it up and take care of Caramel, Pasta is forced to retreat almost immediately. Saturn can't really press too much now that Pasta is about to be reunited with their team again.
All right, so Caramel has Blizzard online. That's the only ult for Lava Lilies available. We do see a Beat's going to be available as well. Hopefully we don't see that in response to it, but rather afterwards. Sorry is going to take one of the ults out of the fray from KC as we go in with that Vortex and Annihilation. Felix Felice is antied and slept and eliminated.
Oh man, every cooldown in the game was just working against them, and that allows Lava Lilies to find out, hey, we are up by so much, not even having to expend the Blizzard, able to save it for an extra fight here, and a last minute touch from Tangerine will be allowing this objective, as well as Saturn, allowing the objective to get around to 90%. They're trying to get it up to 99 just for that overtime advantage. And my B, someone save the Ana from this offensive Hollow Can Aim, who's going to be utilizing that sound barrier as an aggressive measure. Saturn finds the pulse on Queen Bee, and the Blizzard does get utilized. The Sandbox got up now high ground, going for that Deadeye is humongous. Sorry, gets taken down.
Pasta is still alive. The last of the Lava Lilies here, they did convert point in their favor. Probably going to get it to 90%, but the 99 is for KCMX currently, and that means we have to have people staggering on. Queen Bee comes rolling in, quickly sent back to spawn. Tycho comes in, hits the Orbital Ray. I don't think the healing amp is going to be enough. Caramel, who's also swapped, comes in, eliminated. Sorry, the last one to fall will get a touch in, but it's not too little too late. That is going to be Mecha Base going to KC.
That was absolutely incredible to watch. I mean, it was so even the entirety of just the first round on Mecha Base, and the Brawl v Brawl. I mean, there were shining moments. Queen Bee's anti-nades absolutely phenomenal. It made fights end so quickly, especially on Felix Felicius, who just simply had an array use Nemesis form, for example, and then couldn't use it again to get the armor back at least. So their health bar just kind of deteriorated to 0 so fast. But at the same time, Sandbox God, Saturn, and Tangerine on these respective roles, they are absolutely amazing at them.
Let's see if this time we have some minor adjustments made in recognition of Queen Bee's on it. We did have the TP out, so Caramel, I appreciate seeing that. It makes my heart happy. But these anti-nades, you brought it up, they need to be actually recognized and dealt with. We need to either back off with a speed amp or just using speed in general and sustain through those antis, because when they land, they are deadly for coming from the Lava Lilies.
Big Vortex slows down the Ana, but there it is. Lovely rock coming in from Pasta, who's on that Sigma, as we had mentioned earlier, on the specific part of Busan. So good for that poke kind of brawl that Pasta is going for with the Ash and the Tracer with them. But this is Anthony on Sandbox God. They've already gone to the drums and taken the point in their favor so far right now for Kaiju Core. Again, Sandbox God going to be going down first and foremost here into this next excursion, which happened so quickly after the first one. Saturn's recall being forced out so early on, and Tycho is so low. Do we get the kill? But the PO might be too much. Be able to keep up that other support long enough in order to make sure Tycho does not go down, but the pop gets blocked on the supports.
Whoa, stick coming in from Saturn. I don't think Queen expected the Tracer. You could see it. Tracer was like, okay, I can't kill Juno, but I'm going to circumvent this. Just walks the opposite direction out of LOS, behind the window, puts the pulse on the Ana, and the Ana go, you could just, a moment of, oh no. Juno did not have fly, could not get away. The double kill on the support backline, that is a death sentence for a team to be able to sustain. I mean, 40% and counting now for KC is huge, but Saturn, that pulse bomb, you made this percentage possible. You took away a whole fight from Lava Lilies.
They absolutely did, and unfortunately, B just got stuck, fell into Taiko, and it was just, you know, victory from there for Kaiju Core. And now we have the Juno all ready for Tangerine. Taiko can match it very soon at 98%. They absolutely can. But who's going to victory first? And it's going to be Tangerine with the speed ring as well. They're going to be able to go real nice and fast into the fray of Lava Lilies. And Taiko going to be able to use their own in tandem with Tangerines. But will it be enough? This Species decides to utilize that annihilation, and now we've also expanded the Sigma Flux, and it finds Felix in the fray. Everyone from the side of Kachikor has to pretty much back up immediately, but at the hands of Taiko, it's not gonna happen for Tangerine. Caramel gonna be able to find the point, maybe in their favor, but Hollow wanted to get to contest a little bit longer for its point to be around 95 to 99%.
This is we're walking a fine line currently for Lava Lilies. I mean, yes, 96%, that is not even a full fight necessary. If they get a foothold on the objective, KC can actually take this away and maintain it. The other issue is Holo K has beat. Saturn has another Pulse Bomb. We also have another Deadeye getting thrown into the fray here. We can just hit all three of those ultimates, and speaking of hitting one of them, Holo hits that sound barrier to be aggressive, and that is two falling for Lava Lilies immediately.
Oh man, Saturn Sandbox got so good at this DPS role. Taiko finding Saturn with the melee at the end of the day, but that's only 1 out of 4. The Deadeye from Sandbox God going to be used in order to have that reload animation come through, and the hinder on Caramel is going to be stopping them right in their tracks. Taiko may fly over and is not going to be able to find any sort of value with that touch. Overtime has been activated, however. Sorry, trying to just find a little bit of value. Unfortunately, just could not find their one. It's gotta be a 2-0 on control point. The first point on the board going to Kaiju Core.
Well done, Kaiju Core. I mean, it was a win. We've got the matching skins. That makes me even happier. In my favorite color scheme, nonetheless. But we can take a look at Tangerine's POTG coming in here. I'm pretty sure it is one of those orbital array plays that we had. Okay, we got a quick elimination, a hello goodbye to Queen B, and then it looks like we find Taiko. Yes, there's the orbital ray in conjunction with the hyper ring. Those two things combined, your team is an unstoppable force to be reckoned with.
I love me a good Juno play of the game. I love Juno. I am in love with this character. She's so versatile with so many different comps. Excuse me, so many different play styles. So, dude, she's perfect. I don't know. Like, I don't know. She's just like a perfect character. Like, she does Juno's job. I'm sorry, duh. She does Lucio's job. She does, you know, a flex support role in the way of like being able to just keep up the team, do a little bit of damage in the meantime. You have a utility under the hyper ring, which both Tangerine and Taiko were so good at utilizing. But I think the slight edge that Tangerine did have over Taiko was that Tangerine was way more willing to utilize the orbital ray than Taiko was. You know, 9 times out of 10, it was Kaiju Core's orbital ray coming through before Lava Lilies is. So that, the 100 healing every second, the 30% damage increase that you also get from being in the ray, it really does spell so much victory in these team fights for Kaiju Core, especially with their brawl at the end of the day. I mean, the brawl into Sigma, you talked about it earlier about how that could either spell victory for the Sigma, like, hey, we're fine, we can do this, or it can kind of be a little difficult.
Well, I mean, you said it. It's the willingness to hit the ult first. I mean, some teams, like, you do want to plan who, what, when, where, and why you're using your ultimates. But also, another phrase that I've heard thrown into the conversation is he who ults first wins the fight. And that is most of the time very true. If you ult, you are often catching a team in rotation in a position where they're unexpecting for an ultimate to occur. So like they're not even all the way to the doorway over by drum yet, and we hit orbital ray and we throw in our hyper ring. Those two things combined, they're still in rotational phase. They've used some of their cooldowns to come out of spawn. They are sitting ducks on a platter delivered straight over to the enemy team if you hit an ult in that instance. So that is exactly what you want your supports to be doing, being forward, being up front, and hitting those aggressive ultimates to give your team the utility to get in. And I think we're going to be transitioning into a map where perhaps we might see a little bit more Sigma play. but if we're not playing carefully, I think we also might explode again.
Yeah, and that map is gonna be Paraíso coming up next for our hybrid pick of choice for our map 2. And like you said, Sigma can be seen here. You have a really great control of that high ground area. You have a great control of that the long range of that second point, especially the streets. But also, D.Va can be kind of a menace.
D.Va can come back in here. We can see Winston come back into the fray in this situation. I've seen a lot of people prefer Winston on this map, but I know that the Winston nerfs kind of made him a little in this situation. But then I would also argue there are just some players who will say no matter what, I'm going to play Winston, and I respect those players to the core. I am not one of them. I will default to D.Va, and I do not care if I get judged for that. We'll have to see what these teams decide on, though, when we load in. I mean, if you're on defense, I anticipate we'll see something like a Sigma. You can still play D.Va on defense here. You can still play Winston, but the ability to set your DPS up for success, at least on point 1 as a Sigma, I think is very strong. But you do have to be willing to give up percentage on the point to retake with your cooldowns, and that's where teams get a little bit nervous, and so I could foresee seeing a D.Va instead of the Sigma.
Absolutely, and you know, Lava Lilies did miss out on having Pasta, I want to say, in the recent minor at Calling All Heroes, and having Pasta back must be just a big refresher, but also to recuperate as a team, have your tank back in the fray, and being able to, you know, take it over a seasoned team like Kaiju Core, for example, with Felix having been here. I want to say since like at least a year now that I've been privy of the rising teams and all my friends, of course, but looks like Kaiju Core can be on that defensive side of things. Lava Lilies will be having to do the push here, and I had mentioned earlier, Felix's favorite character is D.Va, and their D.Va is absolutely a menace to society. In fact, take her to jail. Like,
take her to jail.
Yeah, take Felix to jail, because like, D.Va needs to go to jail. Felix needs to go to jail. Everybody needs to go to jail today, because this D.Va from Felix is gonna be absolutely amazing. Now, Lava Lilies, sorry on that Widow. Oh, let me tell you, I had been popped in the head in places I didn't even know Widow could pop people in the head in. Sorry is gonna be a big problem for Saturn especially, so I really want to see how Sorry is gonna be able to find those angles and find that advantage state and make these win conditions just kind of open up for Lava Lilies.
Okay, but to that I also say Sorry needs to be extra careful. Yeah, no, Sorry already saw the composition and said no. Because, like, what it takes is your team engaging and then all of Kaiju Core just being like, okay, we'll let you dive past this because we're going to dive you, Sorry. And then you take care of the Widow, and then all of a sudden you've just flipped the map, and then you're able to take care of Lava Lilies because it's a 5v4. So I like the transition over to the Tracer instead. And as we have Felix Felicis and Saturn come in, taking down Taiko, Caramel, as well as Queen Bee.
And all in one swift motion as well. Like, we couldn't even really talk about it. It kind of just happened, right? And that's the problem with Felix behind this character. She is just gonna go right in and just kill your backline, especially someone so vulnerable like Queen Bee. Without a Brig, usually, that's just the problem. Ana might, you know, be a little more susceptible to dying, but again, you're trying to see Pasta get onto this high ground, get on this Brig, and just gets completely negated multiple times by the side of Kaiju Core. The C-Ring doesn't expend. It looks like Pasta's going over to that backline and putting a lot of pressure on the backline of Kaiju Core, but Saturn can fight right back against Caramel, finding the diff on the Echo with the Echo Stickies, and now Lava Lilies is in a kind of a 4v5 situation, but not too terrible. But now by Queen Bee,
oh, it's
all
terrible.
by her lonesome, it has become terrible in seconds, Nerdy.
I mean, you lose one, and this is in the words of Matt Merck, you lose anyone, and if you can't use an ult to equalize, you need to get the heck out of Dodge, and I believe him to the very depths of my core as an individual. I like Pasta swapping over to this Winston, because in transitional phases here when we're trying to get in position, we can protect our Ana a little bit more. However, I do see the power of D.Va to eat the stickies coming out from Caramel, or eat a pulse bomb from Sorry that might bulk, eating Saturn stickies, but the copy Winston going in on the Ana, who has very little protection, only a hyper ring to try and get her out of jail. Unfortunately, Queen Bee, you're going right back in.
You have not one but two flying things coming at you, the D.Va and the Winston. Yeah, no. Saturn being able to find the duplicate primal, gets caught right out of it, but not before fighting Sorry with the help of Sandbox God on that Soldier, which we have not talked about. Soldier being brought back into comp is very interesting to see.
I mean, you can be a little bit more independent as Soldier. I feel like when you have the opportunity to heal yourself, take an angle, back away, heal, but you got to be careful about it because if someone sees that healing, well, they're gonna come after you. But Queen Bee is in need of that healing themselves. I feel like she has been on the receiving end of so much pressure as we have that orbital ray come through. That 30% damage boost is just absolutely disgusting. And yeah, Queen Bee is saying, I'm taking too much of this. I'm getting dove too frequently. I think we are 3 fights in. This change should have happened after the end of the second fight, not the third fight, because now we're in last fight territory for Lava Lilies to make something happen.
Oh wow, and Sorry just gets annihilated by the Helix rocket from Sandbox God. And now we also have this, the visor. We're gonna have that sound barrier coming up very soon as well. But Lava Lilies at least have the primal, they have the orbital ray, and they have the duplicate on lock. At the very least, you have 3 really solid ultimates that could really shift the game almost immediately. But there's a space, and that's the first one we see. It's gonna be the visor from Sandbox God, and it shuts down Tycho, regardless of that we have now popped that orbital ray. Queen Bee is also down. You have no supports. There's a Diva duo coming in here with Caramel going duplicating onto that tank, but we've now gotten D-mech'd, and we're gonna get we're gonna be taking care of that duplicate as well by the side of Tangerine. We're fighting on the objective. Pasta going out for it all with the primal, and unfortunately for Sandbox, just couldn't use those little legs to run away fast enough. But at the end of the day, it's still looking like Kaiju Core in a big amount of advantage state here, especially now that we have not 1, not 2, but 3 supports.
Oh my gosh. And we had that sound barrier come in. Yeah, Diva was blocked off from getting it because of the Winston bubble that dropped down in the middle of the point from Pasta. But like I said, Queen Bee swapping over to this Brigitte, I think happened just too little too late. If you are going up against a very explosive comp and you recognize you're the one that's getting targeted because you're the slowest, you're the one with the least amount of protection out of anybody, their cooldowns. I mean, if 2 people dive you, you have a sleep. So who do you sleep and who do you opt to let kill you is basically the question in that instance. So we should have recognized that sooner and made the transition to the Brig. I feel like Lava Lilies would have found so much more success had they done that. But now we know we're going to go against Felix Felicis on this Diva. We know we're going against an Echo. Possibility of Sandbox being on the Soldier 76 or maybe rekindling the Tracer on the engage here. Queen Bee, I think, needs to opt to play safer if we're going to stick with this Ana.
Surely we stick with the Torb, though. Surely we stick with a Torb. Queen Bee actually is going to be sticking onto the Ana, and I don't hate it only because you can station yourself so far away from the fight that, you know, it has Lily be out of the way for Felix to come and get her. So I'm not super mad about that. In fact, I actually loved it because the nades will also be way easier from that high ground to hit on that bridge area on the choke. But possibly can be opting to mirror Felix on this Diva, which might be the best option at hand here. And to see what Saturn may be able to do, they're probably going to be swapping over to the Tracer because this looks like a full-in dive if Saturn does get their 1, goes Tracer, and then you have a Sombra as well. Yeah, this is a full-in team I'm seeing here from Kaiju Core.
This is a very punishing composition. If this Sombra gets spotted out by Diva or gets slept by an Ana who is intentionally making it look like they're not, you know, paying attention to the fact there could be a Sombra by them and holding on to that sleep, the plan of attack for Kaiju Core could really fall apart. Let's see what ends up happening here on their first engage. We have the Tycho hitting that Hyper Wing early, and Queen Bee was not safe enough, ends up getting eliminated first.
Yeah, unfortunately, they kind of got pincered. If you notice, it was Sandbox God on the back end, it was Felix in the front end. Sandbox God got Ana first, and then Felix got, you know, Tycho right after the fact. So it's gonna be a 2-0 victory for Kaiju Core, and Lava Lilies will be. This is still Swiss stage. They're not out, guys. We're still fighting. So it's all GGs in chat. Big props to Saturn for this play of the game, and everyone. Bro, everyone did so well today. I just think that Paraiso as the choice here while they were playing that on Juno a little bit too long might have been Lava Lilies' downfall.
I mean, I think Paraiso, as far like Paraiso and Eichenwald are two maps that I think teams really struggle with when it comes to hybrid. Specifically, just because of the elevation differences that exist on those maps, they become extremely punishing if you're not taking the right angles, you're not disengaging at the right points in time. So they're very dynamic, and while they give a lot to players that can play around those abilities, they also are very unforgiving in those instances. So I think. I mean, again, Matt Merck even told me he hard dodges Eichenwald when I tried to encourage him to play it one time. He was just like, Nerdy, no. And he's a tank player and he loves Winston. He's just like, no. That like those maps, no. And so I get it. I understand though, but if you learn to make those maps your superpower, like they can become like the opportunity to start reverse sweeps in any series, truly. So I highly encourage teams to get good at those maps and to understand the power that comes with them. But if you don't want to just throw them out the window with the bath and the baby water, well, the baby and the bath water, so to speak, go for it and opt for like Blizzard World, Kings Row, something that everybody plays for a hybrid map.
Absolutely. But as far as I know, we're going to be going for a very quick break as we get our next team up in here. It's going to be Lava Lilies versus Pause Out. And that, I know a lot of people on that team. So we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. And of course, we are back with some more of the Rising Division for Kunoichi Cosmos. And I'm Samat Neva and joined by the wonderful Nerdy Bird. We had just finished up Lava Lilies versus Kaiju Core with that 2-0 lead in favor of Kaiju Core. And now we're going to see our besties back on the screen against Pause Out.
Yeah, so Lava Lilies can say that they're warmed up, and we can chalk up any mistakes that were made to that being a warm-up moment for them, and I hope that we see a little bit more success here early on than we got to see at least on Busan, because now on this first map type, I think you're going to get your wish granted, and while it's not your favorite map, it is chalked up there as one of your favorites, so we're going to be starting out on Ilios. Now tell me, why is this one of your favorite maps?
I don't even know. I just like the aesthetic of it so much. That's the funny part. In all seriousness, I love the aesthetic of it. I also love the high ground that you do get from things like the Lighthouse, for example. Lighthouse, oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, also, I don't even play any boop characters. I don't play Lucio. I don't play Brig. But I like seeing people get booped in there in that well, and the kind of possibilities that people do have whenever you're seeing like someone like play a Roadhog, people play Lucio, people get those Brig whip shots in there. It's great. I just think Ilios is just a fun, stupid map, and that's all it is. Like competitively, it's like
Okay.
but like the silliness of it, unmatched.
I mean, I'll give it to you. Ilios used to be one of my favorite control maps before Busan was thrown into the mix. So, I mean, I understand, but also, I'm a Lucio player. So, you know, there's obvious reasons why I like Ilios, and the word of the day is environmental. So, that's why I personally enjoy it. Plus, like, if we go on to Ilios and we stick with the D.Va compositions, D.Va can get boop kills. I'm excited to see what type of compositions Pause Out is going to be using. And speaking of Pause Out, we can actually take a look at their lineup and take a look at what we could possibly be seeing some of the characters play. And why don't you start us out here? Because we already know Lava Lilies.
Yeah, we definitely do, and I know every single one of these players are all my beautiful friends. Mafia, actually, my main support on Fruit Salad, shout out to Fruit Salad, and gonna be seeing them on that Lucio, likely also the Juno, as Sakurine will likely also be on that Kiriko, the Brig, the Ana, any sort of Juno X character. That's the backline. Zachary K, Zach Gorby, what can I say about you? Loves the Queen, loves the ball comps. Will likely be forced into Ram jail as of late.
Oh,
I know, my poor Zachary, I know. And of course, RB player Maddie. Maddie is a phenomenal Tracer player, also plays most of her DPSs, plays a great Sojourn as well. So I am looking out for her pulses, looking out for her overclocks, and Willow is just here to play Mei. I'm being so serious. Willow signed up with the contract of I am only playing Mei, and playing Mei she will. She is a phenomenal Mei player as well. So you have a team where they're really good at a couple of characters, which makes for really solid comps from them. You know, you can't really mess it up if you're really good at those characters. I'm really excited to see what they've been cooking for the past couple of weeks. You know, being a team just really for Kunoichi, as every single character, every player here besides Willowtron is on their own team, on their own Kongo Heroes team, on their own other teams. So the fact that, again, Rising, we're very intertwined with one another. We're very chill, and we're so down to just, hey, you're from Fruit Salad, you're from Kaiju Core, you're from Lava, you're from this Emerald, and you want to just get together and play? We'll just play. It's great. So this is a mishmash of a couple of teams playing together today.
well, as a quick refresher, we can also take a look at the other team lineup that is going to be playing Lava Lily, as we saw you earlier. Let's have your second. Let's start our redemption arc here and now. We got Queen Bee, Taiko, Pasta, Sari, and Caramel rounding out that roster. Okay, so we saw Sari for literally, I think, 5 seconds on the Widow before they just went, yeah, no, and swapped off on Parisio. And I would really love to see a little bit more Widowmaker. I mean, on Ilios, there is some situations where you can, especially when you go to Ruins, have a Widowmaker come into the fray, but I don't know if we'll fully see that. I mean, beyond that, Pasta's D.Va, we've already seen it. We've witnessed the power that can come from it. I need a little bit more power coming forward. But Queen Bee, the Brigitte was there, and then the Brigitte was gone. Perhaps we need to fall back to the Shield Maiden a little bit sooner this game.
Yeah, I have to agree here, but oh my god, they have an icon. Look at Paws Out. Oh my god, they're so silly.
It's so cute.
It's
Oh my
so cute.
gosh.
I think they have an icon. Mom, stop scissoring in chat. I hate it. No more scissors. Cut it out. But we're gonna be seeing, of course, us on Ilios, and this should be what we should be running out on. Possibly be looking onto that Diva. We're starting things off very strongly on Well, with Sorry likely going for a Menstrual Teleport, and probably gonna be on Tracer. Zachary K, Maddie, we are cooking something with this front line, and Willow on that far as well. I mean, the open space, I can see for sure. Are we being for real? No swaps? We're being for real?
I was about to say, I thought you said Willow was here to be our maid, but Willow is serving right now. Starts out on far, and she's just like, nah, I'm gonna go Reaper. I think she did this specifically because of you, and that's how I'm gonna land this one. Zach, though, coming in on this Roadhog, looking to turn people into pulled pork, send them into the pit in this middle of the map. We have already, unfortunately, lost Maddie, our Junkrat, for Paws Out, so Lava Lily's looking a little healthier right now.
Absolutely, and Pasta able to find a lot of value with that DM and make sure that Zachary does not get any value off of that pull with the Roadhog, may I say. But sorry, the point control is so in favor of Lava Lilies. Big pull from, but unfortunately Diva has boosters that get her right out of that well, so has to probably look for a different target here for Zachary to find any more value. Now we see Akirama going up into the air, likely be looking for Maddie again, and as I say that, it's completely true. And we win the grab once again, but we're about to get D-Meg possibly? No. We're back in it.
We have Sorry chasing after this backline over in Hut on left side. Diva has used those boosters to get deep into this angle to continue to force back Paws Out. They've lost Zach, so their frontline power is very gone. Reaper trying to disengage. Willow is going to make it out, just recoup with their Brigida as well as their Juno and just stay out of range, I think, of getting too much damage. Let's hope our player, Maddie, does not get picked off too soon. They do kind of inch forward, but then recognize the danger and fall back.
Zachary now going over to that Ramatra. I mentioned that they may be in Ram jail a little bit after. A little bit of fun, yeah, but Ram at the end of the day is going to be what Couples does with that back line of the Brigida and the Juno. And the duplicate from Caramel already coming through. And we also have the Annihilation of just pushing everyone from Paws Out back into their back line. The Honing Beam also finds Zachary at the end of the day, as well as Zachary. Zachary. And that was really all she wrote, unfortunately. The D-Bomb is ready. We do have the Brigida rally, so I want to see how we're going to be tackling this next fight.
Pasta with the self-destruct, Queen Bee with that orbital ray. I mean, we're finding a lot more success right now for Lava Lilies than we saw earlier on Control, and I think it comes to the ability to just zone and control between these two supports to actually be able to support their front line. And here comes that orbital ray. In response, we're actually going to have the rally get hit. Toki gets dangerously low, but will manage to survive. Willow has Death Blossom, looking for an opportunity to use it, and I want to see something huge coming out from Willow.
I'm hoping we'll be able to get the D-Mech first before that comes through, but Queen Bee down on the count on the Juno of all characters, unfortunately for them, but it's kind of even right now. We do have this other truck still possible, who will likely be using it as a remake, absolutely. And we just choose not to go on the objective. Very well played Diva Bomb from Pasta to make sure Zachary could not walk.
All right, Lava Lily starting out strong with a first round victory here on Ilios, but now we go into Ruins. And Sorry, this is, yes, Sorry has delivered for me what I've requested on this map, and I am excited to see it. The Widowmaker, I feel like, especially if we don't have adjustments made from Paws Out, could be super successful. However, I think Paws Out has the opportunity, you mentioned it earlier, that Maddie is extremely powerful on the hit scan, so we could theoretically see Maddie opt to go toe-to-toe with the Widowmaker. No, instead it's gonna be Willow coming in on the Widowmaker, posting up, trying to take down Sorry. Best of luck to both these Widowmakers. I'm excited to see how that goes down, but of course, what happens in the mid zone here on the point is what's going to be most important.
Surely my Willow will find a way to play Mei, but first we're gonna play the actual sniper of that, of course, Widowmaker. Maddie all eyes on really on Maddie here to make sure that they're able to find a lot of value in peppering that backline of Taiko and Queen Bee. And also putting a lot of pressure on Sari. Ooh, finds the kill and finds Willowtron and gets spray off. I love Sari. This is huge for Lava Lilies as Paws Out really only has Zachary on the objective. Sari just kind of popping off on the Widowmaker.
I think Sari put down the spray just specifically so Willow could end up seeing it in the kill cam, and I feel so bad. That was a little bit rude, as now Willow's taking some damage, has to sit there and wait to get healed. Let's see if Willow gets another kill. Gotta grapple up onto the broken pillar, and unfortunately will not be able to see the heads of anybody. Oh, never mind, I spoke too soon.
Caramel a little bit too, you know, a little bit too much in that air there, gets completely taken down by Willowtron. And that's a go button for Paws Out. They're down their Echo, a very key portion of their composition. Like, a lot of that damage, burst damage is gone now for the side of the Lava Lilies. Sorry, unfortunately, getting put a lot of pressure on by Maddie, forced to retreat for a bit as they get right healed up, and the objective has now flipped in favor of Paws Out. And we get the D-Mech from Pasta. Absolutely monumental. Sorry. That was hilarious. Sorry, just grappled and looked away from Zach. It's like, let me get my one real fast. But instead, it's Zach finding Pasta in enemy mode.
I actually think Sari was doing a little bit higher of a tech than we see from some people. When you grapple shot like this and you see the enemy Widow, you take your shot and you turn around to make it harder to get yourself hit in the head. Now, we unfortunately have lost our Juno for Paws Out and our Tracer, so there goes their advantage very heavily. We gotta disengage, back really far off, and pray that we do not lose anybody else currently if you're Paws Out, as Lava Lilies is going to flood into point. And unfortunately for Paws Out, Zachary May stayed on a little too long.
Yeah, I was wanting to probably just, you know, delay the percentage to a higher one, like 47%, but at that moment, backing out probably was the best answer. But the respawn, not too bad. We're also going to be having that Kitsune Rush and the Annihilation coming in from Zachary K. Willowtron almost gets her head ripped clean off by Sari again. And now just opting to put a lot of pressure onto the Pasta, who again has that Diva Bomb ready as a second suit here. Here comes Willowtron's own sights, and if that is not Willow, but someone who and B just taking it in their favor. But Taiko, jeez, pulse bomb, beautifully done by Maddie, but a little bit too late, unfortunately.
I think Taiko has gotten real sick of pulse bombs today. If I'm being fully transparent, my heart goes out to you. I feel like backline is typically the receiving end, especially Brigitte's, and I'm very sorry in advance if because you're probably going to experience that a little bit more today. However, despite that, your team is still finding a lot of success here as we go in. We've got the Rally, we've got the Orbital Raid. Those two abilities combined can be huge, especially when we take down the Juno from the enemy team early, forcing out an early Kitsune Rush. So in response, we're hitting both our supporters for Lava Lilies, and this backline for Paws Out has been eviscerated.
Oh man, and the rally from Taiko just made sure that they were able to keep up the advantage state on Ruin's control. Unfortunately for Paws Out, was not able to get the Juno out, was not able to find the Annihilation either for Zachary K. But Lava Lilies played the tempo so beautifully. Oh, look what Willow said! Oh, okay, May it is! You have not triggered the button.
Willow, deliver your May to me, please. I want to see it. But first, let's take a look at this POTG. It's going to be Caramel on the Echo in one of my favorite Echo skins, by the way. Call me based. I don't care. I love that shade of dusty pink. Goes in, finds both DP. Oh, the teabag. That was unnecessary shade. Honey, but also ends up finding the last one.
Yes! We're all friends, so if you bag, it's okay. So it's, yes! Give me more. I love it all. Thankfully, yeah, again, like I said, everyone here is just a bunch of friends, so they really don't care at the end of the day. But I have to say, Lovely's, the redemption arc is starting to redemption here. Having an amazing control, having 2-0 on Legion, I'm sorry, not Legion, but on, oh my god, Ilios. I keep going ahead of myself. Like
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm so excited for control. I don't know. But in the end of the day, we are gonna be going over to hybrid for our map 2, and they have a couple options. We did see Paraiso in that previous series, but to be fair, that was chosen by Lava Lilies, and now it is Paws Out's you know, dealer of choice. They have a choice of Blizzard Road, Kings Row, Numbani, and Paraiso. Numbani, I know, is likely not gonna get picked here because of the fact that it's just a bad map. Look at the other, look at other maps. It's a bad map. It's a bad first point.
Okay, okay.
The first point is so bad. Everything else I love.
I will check. I'm gonna put it in the same family tree right now of Eichenwald as well as Pericio, which is just the high ground that exists on that point is very punishing, but it's also very giving to the players that know how to use it. Like, but it is very at the same time not. It's very contingent on your willingness to back off so heavily that you start sweating bullets. And so if you have anxiety, avoid those 3 maps is really what it comes down to, because you are walking a fine line the entire time you're playing them. And that is why I think they're just maybe not worth the stress. To that I say, let's go Blizzard World, where there is elevation, but not so much elevation that things go south. And I don't know what just happened to my camera. And
Sir.
I'm a ghost now. Hello, everybody. But with that being said, I'm gonna keep talking. I think King's Row would be a good bet here. Or honestly, if we're gonna run a May, hey, I'm back. If we're gonna run May, we could end up going Blizzard World. I think those 2 are very healthy options for the comps that Pause Out wants to use.
I agree, and if you're arguing saying Zachary stay on that Ramatra with the May, that they just work so well in tandem with one another, the May and the Ram, and I feel like we'll find a lot more success. I mean, arguably, if you want to say that first point, Ilios was like a little bit troll. We had like the Junkrat, we had the Roadhog, and Roadhog into Diva. You're trying to hook the Diva into well, she just flies right back out. You know what I mean? And same with like Juno, for example. Juno can just glide right back out. That would pop right back out, and she's completely fine. So a little more seriousness might be coming in on this hybrid. We saw a much more serious team comp on the second point of Ilios. So I do hope they do go to either Blizzard or King's Row. I have a feeling that King's Row may be the pick just because you're having the May, you're having the Ram. The Brawl is a little bit easier to execute with a team that honestly is established for exactly one tournament, is this one. So to have all that extra mind power of how do we clear out Blizzard World, how do we fight Blizzard World's high ground if they're on the high ground, if they're more pushed back, if they're really pushed forward, how do we clear out Numbani high ground, Paraíso high ground. Ignore all that mess. King's Row, so simple, so easy. You go forward.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. Let's just go Kings. Honestly, I think because Kings is played so frequently, it plays into the ability for a lot of teams to play it regardless of the comp that they want to roll out on. Yes, there are some comps that will work better, but then there are teams who will literally play a comp just because they're like, this is our comp, we don't care what map we're on. And because King's Row is such a mainstay in the Overwatch space, they've learned how to play it on King's Row to an extent that no other team really would anticipate a counter comp, so to speak, to be played on. It's like, what composition was created to counter goats back in Overwatch 1? Well, it was Clockwork by Clockwork Orange, and we saw it showcased on both Numbani as well as King's Row. So King's Row plays into the ability to do that. And yes, there's also Statue of Liberty play that came out during that time as well. As disgusting as that was, it's something else that was created for that map. So King's Row is unique in that aspect that everyone plays it, but you have to give respect to creativity on it.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like the path you can take isn't as, siphoned as maybe Numbani, for example, can be. Where Numbani, you either have a headache to the choke, you go around coast, you can try going up to the high ground, clear it out that way to let the left side high ground, and, try your best. But I feel like with King's Row, you have so much more options. You can absolutely wrap around the entire high ground. And my personal favorite is to flip the map. Be the attacker on the defending side and vice versa. And you can also go through Hotel. You can go around right side Statue and play that mini pack and play for survivability and sustain. And, so many different options that King's Row does offer. It's just a chef's kiss, beautiful map. I mean, they really cooked with this one. I don't know when, but they cooked with it back then. So we need more maps like King's Row, please, Blizzard. And again, we should be going over to... you were right! You were right, King's Row.
I mean, we can give ourselves a little pat on the back for guessing that one properly. I'm excited to see this. I'm really excited to see Willow on the May. Oh my goodness, sorry, you are silly. I'm sorry, but like Pirates, we are and everyone else that's responding also very goofy. So, Maddie is rolling out on the Sojourn. Honestly, I could see it working. I think for King's Row, might have opted at least on first point for the Ashe, because you can use Dynamite to force people out of angles, but I digress. Sojourn's Disruption also does the exact same thing, just a little less deadly, I feel like, because it doesn't tick damage after you're out of it. Now, looking on the other side, Lava Lily's on the attack. Sorry on the Widowmaker. Yes, perfect. Caramel on this Pharah, I don't think it's going to last that long. There's a lot of things that can look at this Pharah.
We have the Orisa from Pasta, and looks like they're going to be sticking right with it. And I had mentioned Orisa maybe making a little bit of comeback. I've been seeing some coaches, talk about it. And you know what? I'll do with the after the hell of Malga meta, I can do the reset. Oh, Caramel gets found out in the corner, pummeled to death by the Ramattra from Zachary K. The anti-nade on Pasta from Sakurine is gonna force them to retreat and wait for their Caramel to come right back. But I mean, RB player Maddie, she's gonna be on the high ground and putting a lot of pressure up in this top angle as well as this side angle. So the side of Lovely is to be really careful how they approach. Ooh, sorry, going to the Ashe.
Ooh, I love the Ashe coming in from Sorry. I mentioned it. I like Ashe as the opportunity to force people out of angles, and we've gotten rid of our high ground controller, taking down Maddie. So the Sojourn's gone. Orisa, I feel like, is huge into the composition that Pause Out is using because we have the ability to use that spear spin to take away Ravenous Vortex. We can use the spear to shove this Ramattra into angles. Exactly, spear spin to do the same thing. Ramattra in that Nem form unfortunately won't live for long as they've lost their DPS players. Even the Hyper Ring can't save you, Zach.
I want to also mention they had seen the Taiko was so low in that mini pack underneath the statue and pressed a little bit too forward. They had the entire team behind them, and that might have been where Pause Out falters a tiny bit. Oh, go to B right now! They're doing the spin thing! They're doing the spin thing! No! Okay, Maddie could be able to get Sorry with the railgun, but no one else able to touch. Oh, but they're at the archways, and ideally Pause Out wants to hold here because Lovely's was down for a second from Sorry, but they're gonna be pushing in as much as they possibly can, and Willowtron finds Caramel on the main question mark in the chat. I love them.
Willows unfortunately had their cryo freeze force, but they're far enough back that it should be a-okay for them. Now, we're playing two variants of spam compositions, but Ram spam comp is a little different. We get a little bit of a brawly phase in there when we go into that Nemesis form if we get a wall with it. But when you're going against the Battle Cattle who has Spear Spin online as well as Fortify, well, it kind of ruins that phase. But when you hear that Orbital Ray get dropped on both sides, the one thing you got to do is spend a little bit more. That's in the form of a Mei ult, and it does not look like that'll be enough because we did not take care of Sorry here in the backline with the Dynamite and the Bob ready to go.
You're right, unfortunately everyone just kind of looked away from Sorry, and here's the Nano also being expended on Caramel, but the fight has been over. Yeah, Caramel, look at your B, what happened? I love this. I love the pettiness of do without Nano Faker. I love these guys.
The rules, Dem's the rules. I think Tech knows, right? I mean, never take a fair fight. That's
yeah.
Like if my Ana can give me Nano and my Ana is like Queen Bee who will get it up so fast, it don't matter. I will use it. Considering we have both our support arts gone though, we have to go with Terror Surge and Bob. We hear the Annihilation getting popped as well as the Rocket Barrage to circumvent the fact that Zach decided to pop that and say, no, you're just not going to my backline. Good luck. Hate crime, as Blood Bunny would say. Yeah, that was a hate crime.
I can't do this. Oh, they've capped it to point B with 4.5 minutes on the clock. Mafia gets shot down by Queen Bee, and Pasta gets slept, but Sorry again, uncontested on this high ground, uncontested wherever they go. And it's gonna be Maddie making the approach, but unfortunately, just gets meleeed right out of that overclock, unfortunately. But big wall from Willowtron. Gonna make sure that Sorry doesn't get too much value here.
Zachary K is pushing forward, has Nano in their back pocket if necessary, coming out from their support. Their Ana is here to protect them and also deal a little bit of extra damage on the side. But maybe perhaps we're looking for the opportunity to use this Nano boost on our Mei or someone who gets a little bit too low. There it is. We're gonna go into Nemesis form, push forward, do some bobbing and weaving, some punches into this engage as we use around this vortex, but unfortunately we're out of the brawl range and we have to disengage, but we bought our team some time and that was worthwhile for the ult.
Oh, Willowtron finding Sari's head with the May Ice Go after they had just taken down Maddie, who has now gone over to the Ash rather than the Sojourn. Willow has the Blizzard ready, but maybe might not use it because they don't have the protection of that Cryo Freeze. The Nano expended around the Pasta and Caramel. The entirety of Lava Lilies jumping Willow. Oh, and Majax? We had a Majax. The Blizzard did not come through. Plaza has lost a pivotal ultimate in this fight. There's also the satellite of the Orbital Ray coming in from Tycho, pushing everyone and their mother back away from this objective.
The Orbital Ray 30% power boost is ridiculous. We still have Pasta with this Terra Surge online, comes in, hits it, is not going to find anyone, but we've lost Willowtron, unfortunately, and we're going to lose Moth. So Pause Out is just out of their ramp as well, and nope, they don't even have their Ash as we hit the Rocket Barrage to take them out. Perhaps we'll be able to find Annihilation. No, I do think that's going to be this point set and lock going in favor of Lava Lilies as they find double eliminations back to back on people trying to stagger onto the point.
Yeah, that will absolutely be enough. And Bob lingering out for a very long time, finding, making sure, just putting a stop to anyone that was going to come in for that last minute touch, especially Maddie, who made the executive decision, to go to that Tracer as well. And it was, oh, this is so fun. This is so fun. I love my team. I love my team so much, but that is going to be Lava Lilies having a 2-minute time bank with third objective in their favor. Now it's going to be Pause Out on that attack phase here. And if they can make it even a little bit, just get a minute on the clock, maybe they can, bring us back. Absolutely. But a little more cohesion, a little more working together would be really beneficial for them, especially for Zachary, who does have to really go in and be the aggressor. And Zachary and Moth, maybe are maybe not always ready for that aggression. So a little bit of slowing down, going aggressive, going passive may work out for Pause Out a little more in the future.
Look, I think Zach just needs to not get hate crimed.
I agree. Also that, why is Zach getting hate crimed?
That's all it comes down to, is like recognizing, oh, Caramel is right there, and be like, hey, do they have ult? Did Caramel have ult last fight? Because if she used it, then I'm safe to go. If she hasn't used it and you're 2 fights deep, then know that you're about to get eliminated. Like, it looked like Caramel, she was just targeting Zach that entire time with those ultimates. So maybe we pay a little more attention to her.
A little bit, a tiny bit. But now we have Sari going over to this Widow, looking for a different one. Looks like Maddie, going for the late swap. Sari's now gone from that little hiding hole spot, meaning Maddie has a little bit of free leeway to start pushing in on the Widowmaker, but instead they're just jumping out from that high ground, like making a little bit of a swap possibly. But Zachary has to chill out after being antenated by Queen Bee, who is once again on this Ana. Ana versus Brig Ana. Very excited to see how this does work out for them.
We've used the wall a little bit too far back, I think, unfortunately, from our Mei, so we can't capitalize on it, or our Ramatra would get punished heavily. However, it does allow them to claim some space safely, and now they have to wait for those cooldowns to come back online. So Willow, I'm looking at that health bar. You gotta survive. Now someone needs to also pay attention to Sari. There's multiple places you gotta split your attention, and Maddie is splitting it perfectly, setting that bullet right between the eyes of Sari and Tycho.
Maddie is on a roll with this Widowmaker, finding so much value in spots that are a little bit arguably unconventional for Widow to be. Widow on low ground around statue, unconventional. Typically on that high ground, and that's where Sari was trying to look. Sari was looking for a Widow duel on those more apparent places. Oh no. Oh, this means the funniest thing in the world. Sleep! Oh.
Send her to spawn! Yeah, Queen Bee!
Queen Bee got her one today. Oh, that was great. Thank you, observers. Thank you, observers. I'm grateful for you.
She gets those. She gets those.
Okay, they are going to be going around statue. They have almost 5 minutes to work with at the very least. And B, doing it again? No, it's going to be actually seeing Willow up there instead. And Pasta! Making sure Willow has to pay attention a little more, but Maddie wants more.
Oh my goodness.
These spots. B is going to be a menace up here with Caramel. Oh, the
Queen
block.
is. Oh.
And the
Okay, this is why Rocket Barrage should be combined with the Nano so that you're able to survive, or a Suzu, or even having your Life Grip ready to go if you are the Life Weaver in a composition. Because Pharah without the Nano is so open. But I digress. We hit the Terra Surges. We have Willow in the back line, taking Terra Techno, and uses the wall to keep himself alive. I mean, you got the trade, Willow. I respect it. And Zachary is just like, guys, what just happened?
Very unserious game, but we are be having a lot of ultimates at the back end of things. We do have Taiko having the orbital ray. We have B having the nano. Sorry, just gang up on player Maddie with B also looking at the same target. Maybe they just have explode here. The high ground completely, dominated by B here. Finds the nade on Sakurine and Zachary K, but the rally's still going on. The Blitz is also ready, and now Maddie finds her lick back against Queen B. Sorry, not by the Lawson in that back. Put a lot of pressure on here by the side of Pazao, and there's an orbital ray from Taiko, but nobody's really playing in it. Oh, but you know who's playing in Mafias? The Italia Pause out. They're pushing up
yeah.
ultimate.
Now Zachary K has this Annihilation online, is opting not to hit the go button on it because everyone's too far back. But with Maddie taking a shot to the dome, we may need to hit an ultimate. No, both our DPS are gone. I think this is in disengagement if I've ever seen one from Pause out. Yeah, they're running back. They recognize, hey, we have no forward pressure. Let's go. But Pasta is like, I see you. You are dunks in the water. I am a battle cattle, and I am here to devour, trying to take them out. But unfortunately, they're too far. They're out of the damage range. They'll make it out safely.
Yeah, they're able to get away from the Warhorse of Indeed, and sorry, once more, finds Maddie's head so easily, and now they're able to play up to in that high ground. But the Vortex slowing down Pasta, the anti-nade not going to be deterring Zachary K whatsoever, as they keep pushing forward a little bit there. There's a size coming in from both Maddie and Sorry. Everyone can see everybody, but it's going to be Caramel finding Maddie first in the frame. My Vermatra was T-posing for a second there, goes back to Omnic form, gets him to form right back out. And there's another barrage on top of Mafia. Here comes a really long-winded Orisa Terra Surge, and the rally from Sakurine will be able to push Pasta to their limit. Queen B is uncontested on this high ground yet again, but someone's gonna deal with it at some point, and it's gonna be Willowtron looking to find Caramel.
Sori is currently over by spawn and spawn camping Maddie, and it's kind of being extremely painful to watch in this kill feed. Maddie is begging to just leave spawn at this point in time. Like, I've just been watching the kill feed and the chat, and everyone that dies is like, please, Sori, stop, please. And finally, Sori has backed off to go help over at the objective, so Maddie's able to walk forward at this point in time.
Oh, the emote behind the shield! Oh, they're confident. They have 2.5 minutes. They just have to push it, and this Anaya has been ready for a couple of team fights now, but you've lost your mob. You have speed ready, you don't have anything. In fact, get out of there immediately. You gotta start running. Stop punching. Just run. Your Willow may die here. Yeah, let her die. That's okay. Get out immediately. The Jinna Ring is so monumental from Taiko that they had to get rid of it. That gave credit. Yeah, it did. A little boob.
We still have Zachary K with this Annihilation, but player Maddie getting eliminated by Sori again is kind of painful. You can't go in without both your DPS alive and both your supports alive. It just makes you a sitting duck if you're the front line, and it looks like, yeah, Maddie has had it. Maddie is going to be setting her sights on Sori and doing absolutely nothing but taking care of the enemy Widow. And as I mentioned, that unfortunately, they get a little overzealous too quickly, and Sori spots it immediately.
Yeah, Sorry is not someone to really be messed with in that regard. The wall narrowly whiffing. There's a nano on, of course, Caramel, who finds Sakurine, and then they're able to finish it off very nicely with the barrage at the end of the day. A minute and a half. That's play. Wow, beautiful. A minute and a half on the clock, not even a minute 15 to push the third point to maybe get around 3 from the side of Paul's out.
I mean, this is, at this point, one fight and maybe a little bit of a scrappiness. We really need to regroup here if you're pause out. They've got 4 ults online. Orbital Ray in conjunction with Blizzard should be enough to give them at least some space. Here's Orbital Ray coming in, but the Spear Spin's going to prevent that Blizzard, I think, from actually landing. It did. It was not eaten, but the Blizzard was not in the right spot. So everyone here for Lava Lilies, excluding Queen, will survive. As we do lose Zachary K, but this May has thrown themselves into the enemy lines too far into the backline. Willow went, and Willow goes back to spawn instead.
One final push. We do have this, only the rally. And can Maddie stay alive long enough to get this EMP off? Maybe. But Lovelace has Tycho's Orbital Ray. We have Pasta's Terror Surge. Everything is going to be working in favor for Lovelace. And no one is able to find any value on Sorry, except for Maddie going for it in the very long approach, but finds him at the end of the day.
Let us cap. I cash out you $5.
But this is what I mean. We have a last minute contest coming in from Willow, and unfortunately that purple not gonna be able to find the healing output needed. And is really playing just away. Is it gonna be enough? We've lost the barrage. Amazing half from Maddie. Just stay alive long enough. I was gonna say for the EMP, unfortunately will not be able to. Zachary K going over to the Diva now, just for a little bit of that defense matrix against these hit scans and the Pharah.
Come on, let them cap. They offered $5 on Venmo. I want to see Kings Row go the distance. Oh, we upped it to 10. We upped it to 10. No, the Lava Lilies will not take the bribe, and they are going to 2-0 our series with a 3-2 on Kings Row. Well executed Lava Lilies. I love the adjustments we saw. I love the bringing out of the Orisa on Kings Row. My battle cattle, but Caramel. Likely this is one of the hate crimes. Yes, yes it was.
This is the hate crime. This is so funny. And someone mentioned, B mentioned in Blood Bunny Jasmine, one of the substitutes for Lava Lilies, they said, hey, we don't have Cash App in the EU, so they couldn't take the bribe.
Sorry, PayPal next time.
Oh, that's Lava Lilies taking it 2-0 over Pause Out. Oh, that was so funny. 3-2 on KR, 2-0 on Ilios. Absolutely phenomenal redemption arc they had after their first series against Kaiju Core.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how far Lava Lilies can go. I mean, yes, it's still Swiss, so they've got time, they've got opportunities to just continue to improve. Honestly, I think they need to play more into the opportunities to play the Battle Cattle, play it a little bit more, because I love me some good Orisa gameplay. The cooldowns, they are very great to use, and in the right order, too, which is exactly what we got to see from Pasta. Pasta, you made my day! You gave me my Battle Cattle, so thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, we love Pasta in this house. Big Pasta fan. But that is going to be the end of Rising. On the stream side of things, we will be making a transition over to the Open Division for Kunoichi Kosmos. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as we get our players and teams set up.
Memories. Memories.
Yeah.
Memories. Memories.
And hello everybody, we are back with some more Kunoichi Kosmos. I'm Nevo, joined by now the wonderful Megalaz. Hey, it's been a while. How are you?
It has been a while. I've been existing, that's what we'll say. But you know what? It's a day where we're getting to watch Overwatch, so of course I'm happy. I'm elated. But you know, we are actually experiencing a little bit of a fun thing here, Mod. So what do we got going on?
So we are going to be casting a little bit of Ana Paintball just in the meantime as we get our teams Yas and Shikikami situated in their lobbies. Ana Paintball with the observers. They're going to be, I think we're going to be seeing like Lil Joe, we're going to be seeing Reach That, we're going to be seeing Orange. So we're going to be seeing a little bit of our behind the scenes people in the forefront. So here we go, mac and cheese on. Mac and cheese is destroying. Okay, Orange getting Elliot Jets. This is oh man, the weapons like sleep into kill. Yeah, you're goated.
I just realized the Ana paintball with the new Ana mythic. People are just gonna be styling with the spinning sleep dart. Oh my goodness gracious! It's gonna be a whole thing.
It's great. It's great. And then you melee. Yo, Orange might be the best Ana paintball person in the world. Wait, one. Eventually. And the one, ooh, light sight whiff, but we got it at the end. But we got dipped by mac and cheese.
The unfortunate thing, but yeah, no, just some casual auto paintball. Our observers, literally, if you give them the chance to play this just on stream while we're waiting for matches, they will take it any day of the week. And you know, lucky for them, a little bit of a situation where we're waiting for games to finish. But I just realized, wait, yeah, mac and cheese is dominating. What? They probably just joined a public lobby. I was gonna say, how did you get this many points already?
Mac and cheese, yeah, this is a public lobby here, and mac and cheese, yeah, great. I mean, Orange keeps just like spitting the sleep dart and finding kills with it is so funny to me. I also want to mention like the sleep dart animation, the new one on her right side is so weird. If anyone's ever noticed it, if they changed it slightly.
Oh, did they change it for this skin?
Yeah, they changed it. The whole animation on the right side, it's just like it's a slight difference, but it's a little bit like choppy, I want to say. I think it's to match the left side animation now that they introduced it, but geez, I mean, oh, Orange is popping off. Wait, we get those? Nice scope shot, or I'm sorry, hip shot.
The hip fire coming through, but yeah, I mean, it's, you know, very interesting for you know, having that mythic with the weapon emote on it, right? Because, you know, you can't really spin on a whole gun. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. It would look very cool though, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's just, oh, now we're looking at somebody's social friends list.
Oh, I reached that.
Me when
just-
you know what, just show off your friends sometimes. That's really a homie play right there.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, shout out to all my friends. Oh,
That was cool.
Oh, no, oh my god. I just want to spec Orange because they have the weapon in spec. It's so cool. But yeah, you were saying, for it to be the sleep dart and not like her full gun makes complete sense. Like, it would look weird if she was just twirling her, like, gun around. It's not like Ryan where you can just, like, throw your hammer in the air and look cool. I need to get this in spec. Like, it's a problem. I need to get it.
Yeah, see, I was gonna be one of those people who's like, you know, I'm not paying for a battle pass this season. Now, the more I'm looking at it, might have to drop the money. But hey, that's why we have events like this, you know, it's gonna be great. So, but yeah, no, this is actually probably the best showcase of why to buy the Ana Mythic right here. It'll actually improve your Ana paintball chances. Totally real factoid, not fake at all.
Yeah, see, like for example, Elliot, I don't think has on a mythic, so therefore they keep dying. See, 3 in a row. But Argo Orange, of course. Oh my god, that was perfect. That was so perfect.
Blizzard needs to hire our observers for like the promotional material for the mythics from now on. Oh my gosh, Orange is actually putting it on full display here with these like just fun sleep darts, and sometimes it happens back to you.
This is great. I love Ana Paintball. What a great game mode.
Yeah, the workshop, I mean, just across all the fun game modes that have come out, there's this. My favorite is like Doom Sumo, where you'll see those really crazy Dooms that are doing just parkour tricks. I'm one of them. It's me.
Oh, I started playing Bash and Fishing.
Ooh, that is a
recently.
good one.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, the workshop creators, ever since they got access to this, they've definitely been doing a lot here. Like, I don't even know who would even think of a mode like on a paintball, you know? Like, it's just something that, now that it's in the game, is so much fun, but the fact that this concept wasn't there, like, somebody had to invent it. It's just crazy.
That's my go Stormy Overwatch. Shout out to Stormy for creating this mode. I love you, but will Orange get asleep after this inspect? Oh no, they get completely shut down by Taco.
Wait,
But,
Mac and Cheese left. Orange is about to take first.
wait, go! Oh, they're tied. Surely Orange takes first place, gets a sleep dart on somebody, peeking around. There it is, the high ground peg! It's on Elliot, but we're still... Oh no, yeah. Orange now in the lead by exactly 1.
And there it is. Sometimes you just gotta be in first place. Oh wait, focus mode. Wait, Orange is locking in here, or whoever observer is. I don't know who's observing at this point, but it is just the lock-in mode of, oh, I gotta focus. I'm in the lead now. I gotta make sure I hold it. And sometimes you just sleep dart a light. That happens too.
It need to be turned off. I don't know. Make it go to sleep, you know. But yeah, Orange I think is probably still in the lead by now. I mean, Taco Guama is doing a great job at, you know, also putting a lot of pressure in this lobby. Oh, we whiff. Elliot, my goat, we must lock in. You gotta be locked in like Orange here, who's turned off the HUD and everything. Like, nothing is distracting Orange from this on a paintball. Boom, this bandit gets disbanded from the lobby. Has to respawn later, but there it is. Elliot, find the kill on Orange.
And disbanded just flat out left, said, you know what, there's just too many powerful players in here. I can't keep up with it. But hey, listen, that was a nice shot from Elliot onto Orange. You know, potentially the comeback here as the was that a melee or no, Orange came in and sniped at some point.
But yeah, as we are waiting for on a paintball, we do have our next teams waiting to get ready for the next round. It's gonna be Ayas and Shikikami. Two really good teams. We have now transitioned over to the NA Open. So Rising was Diamond 1 and below. Open is anyone, but typically it's a little more high level play, more like your Masters, GM players, now Champ players, if you really want to incorporate them. So I'm excited. I'm actually just kind of excited to see the difference in play styles, the difference in fight planning and stuff like that, and in rotations that higher level players are going to be taking for the Open division. So as soon as they get ready with that, we'll get right into that. But right now, Orange it's Orange's time, the Orange show.
the orange show indeed here. Just on a highlight montage here. You get some epic music over this and stuff like that. Ooh, yeah, these quick scopes are just nice. But yeah, I mean, we still got so much more Kunui action. I think we have 2 more rounds today. And then we still have all of the action actually wrapping up tomorrow with our brackets and stuff that still have to be made. But yeah, like you were saying, when you get to these higher levels of play, you're going to see more coordination. You're going to see team compositions that have like full purpose behind them, and more teams have to bend themselves towards what may be meta or what may be just good on paper instead of just relying on those comfort picks. But only time will tell.
I mean, yeah, time will definitely tell, because right now it's been, well, previous to the patch we just had, it was very diva-centric with the bug that was affecting her boosters interacting with the Juno speed ring. But we've also now been seeing like Ram. We saw a little bit of the Orisa also make an appearance in the Rising division, and I've also been seeing the Orisa, for example, in higher level Korea play. That has been very interesting to see how Orisa has started to inch herself back a little bit into the tank rotation.
Yeah, no, I'm an Orisa fan. I've openly said this on broadcast time and again. And this is sort of what happened with Orisa the first time she was really overpowered here in Overwatch 2, right? It was a bunch of small buffs time and again that sort of kept applying to the point where she was giga overpowered. I don't think she's in that sort of state now. But, against the other brawl tanks, like if you're looking at a Ramatra, a Junker Queen, even Ryan, right? Her abilities can sort of zone them all out pretty effectively. Even if you're not, the highest skilled Orisa in the world, as long as you're just timing those abilities, it's just allowing the other brawl tank to really feel pushed into a corner. But, it's not an end-all be-all meta, like you said. There's been some dive poking around here. Some teams still like the Diva. The Winston has been seen here and there. What I'm surprised that I actually haven't seen more of, though, with certain buffs to some snipers is more of the poke comps, right? With the Sigma, playing a little bit of snipers, granted, that's kind of more map-specific comps, but, that is something that I would expect to see a lot more of, but we just haven't gotten highlights of it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you saw Sigma for a little bit, but it was still with like the typical Diva Ram backline, or I'm sorry, not even backline, but also DPS line. You saw the Sigma with like the Ashe and the Tracer. You saw Sigma with, that kind of comp. Even the Cassie made an appearance as well. But the Juno backline, it could be Juno Brig, Juno Ana, I've seen Juno Kiri also be really good. Juno with any flex support basically, plus Brig. Very strong backline, very flexible backline. That's why I've been more of a fan of the Juno X anybody versus like a Kiri Lucio, a Bap Lucio, because it feels so like flexible. It feels like you can really just work with whatever comp you can, and Juno really does just fit herself very nicely in there.
Absolutely. I think my favorite so far is when teams run, I've been sort of calling it the full in, where it's Lucio Juno, generally with a Junker Queen. And the plan is to just, at some point, a speed boost will be activated, and that's pretty much all of the time because they're able to trade between their 3 speed boost abilities. It creates for such fun because it's not even like the comp is necessarily that good. It just plays so fast that because your opponents can't react, it kind of can give you an advantage that way.
Yeah, I've played that hyper speed like comp with the Juno, the JQ, and the Lucio, and you feel powerful. It feels like you're constantly just like super fast, and if you cycle the cooldowns correctly, between speed ring, between amp speed, and between shout, you just feel like you're constantly on times 2 speed, and really just bum rushing into the other team and making sure they all just simply die. It's great. So that kind of stuff works super well on something like Flashpoint, for example, where JQ does kind of run still very strongly. Even Push, I've seen her be run on Runasapi still, funnily enough, or even New Queen Street, since they're both very similar in how they're set up, literally. But unfortunately in the map pool, we don't really have Flashpoint unless it's the map 4, like you tied on Hybrid, for example, or you draw it on Hybrid. So I also want to mention we have Clash in this map pool between Hanaoka and Throne of Anubis. Very interesting that, very new. It's not very new, but a new-ish mode. Still feeling out the kinks of it, the weird stuff, and I really do want to see if we do get to that point. Any of these teams and how they approach a mode that can be so one-sided that Clash can be.
Well, so actually, earlier today, I got to cast a match for CGL with their EU PC Open. So we're talking high level play, and very interesting thing I want to point out specifically about Clash was the composition that ended up working out really well. There is a comp you wouldn't necessarily run as a meta or anything like that, but basically the team was playing off of a Nanoblade setup as well as they were running Orisa and Cassidy, and basically their entire game plan, instead of trying to position or take fights, was simply to cycle their ultimates. One fight was a Nanoblade, the next fight was a Terra Surge combined with the Deadeye. And because of the constant brawl, they were able to build those ults pretty consistently, and it worked like a charm. Like, they absolutely dominated on the map. So potentially that could be sort of the birth of something discovered for the Clash mode. It's just sort of this back and forth where if you can just keep cycling those ult combos and stuff like that, like I said, because Clash is just very competitive, very back and forth, you're building ult really quickly. It could be something very interesting for just how Clash evolves as a mode.
Yeah, absolutely right, and it's still so weird, especially when you're still scrimming it. Not all teams scrim it, even not all of them have scrimmed it, even though it's now like started to become more well known in in pools and stuff. But before we start talking about all that and draining what we're gonna say during the broadcast, we're gonna cut to a very quick break. The on pin will still be happening, but we're gonna get ready for our teams in the end of the day. So we'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Orange is actually
Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight.
Very exciting on a paintball session, and even more exciting and a rising division. We are now transitioning over to the open division for Kunoichi Kosmos. I'm Evo, joined by the wonderful Mega Lass, and I'm super excited for this. It's yes for Shikikami.
Yeah, I mean, we were sitting there, we were waiting on, I believe it was Yes was trying to finish up their game from round 2 as quick as they can, but in the end, they were able to get it done, and so now they're both raring and ready to go into round 3, and I mean, I'm just excited to get into it. I'm sure, Yes, they're ready to, like, they probably have a lot of warmth behind them, ready to play back-to-back.
I can imagine if I had just done like a 3-series game already or a 3-map game, and I'm going into round 3. I mean, it's 5 rounds tonight. 5th round can be off stream, but still done for the teams today, and they have to now, they finished off Ilios, they finished off Hybrid, they finished off Clash. Now they have to go over to Samoa as their control for round 3. And very interesting indeed, only because Samoa can give a lot of synergy to a Ramatra comp, a Diva comp. Even Malga has making reappearance in some high-level plays. We've also been seeing the Orisa, I'm sorry for her name for a second, the Orisa come back. I know you're excited about that.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, listen, anytime there's Orisa on the screen, I'm happy. But yeah, I mean, a lot of Brawl that we've seen, then Diva sort of gets thrown in the mix as a way to sort of apply that defense matrix and try to help heal for the rest of the squad if you're looking to play more defensive. But as we're looking at our lovely, lovely teams, because they're the ones we have to watch. we have to get a preview of what we're looking at here. Oh yes, we got Sabotabi in the Dong as our DPS line. Konata on that ever reliable tank, you know, showing the Wrecking Ball. I don't think we'll see a Wrecking Ball because that'd be a little bit of a troll. But then we have Macy and Noya being the ever reliable supports.
Absolutely, and you know, with oh, I love the Dong's name. They have such a great name, but in all seriousness, this is a great team. Yas has been well known for quite a while now in multiple Kunoichi and Kong Heroes tournaments in the Challengers and Open Division series. And now let's transition over to Shikigami. Much of the same. They have been in multiple Kunoichis and Kong Heroes, hence Ka in their name. Wi-Fi and Fifi on that DPS line. Blobfish on that Diva, of course, or at least the favorite character is Diva and likely gonna be on said Diva. Dawn and Moon, I mean the Kiri Lucio favorite characters and possibly the backline of choice, if not with the Juno Kiri, Juno Lucio we talked about a little bit earlier today with a JQ, for example. Lots of flexibility that both of these teams can really utilize here in how they want to really approach Samoa first and foremost, because that's just gonna set the pace of how Hybrid's gonna go, how Escort's gonna go, how Clash is gonna go, then how Flashpoint's gonna go. So really excited to see these guys, especially Yas, who we had mentioned, just got off of their round just now, while Shikigami has been waiting for a couple of minutes here now.
Yeah, and that's going to be super crucial, right? Because you have to remember here in the round robin stage, we are at a first to two situation. So, you know, not the longest series. Once you're down a map, all of a sudden it is match point, right? So that pressure is going to be on. You do want to place well in these standings to make sure you get a good spot in the bracket for tomorrow. It is super, super crucial in that aspect here. But again, it just comes down to how they're playing in the moment and sort of what compositions, right? We're still, we're in very much a flux era right now. We don't have a signified like hardcore, this is the meta, we can play this any and everywhere locked in. So teams are having to get a little bit creative. And I think that is really what's going to separate the good teams from the great teams, right? Being able to show that creativity, being able to flex across multiple comps and adapt to what their opponent brings to them.
You're right. At the end of the day, there was no like set meta. You know, we had a couple of that. We had Malga. There was just Malga everywhere. That was a Malga meta. We had the Orisa meta where it was kind of pivotal. You play her, but now it's stabilized a little bit. We've gotten a handful of different characters we can play, from the tank down to the supports. Except for Juno. I'm sorry, my first support and our main support, you're stuck in Juno jail. So give me excited to see how we do start things off on Samoa. Looks like a little bit of a clear picture of what we're gonna be seeing. Definitely not the Torb, but Gnatfish on Gnatfish. Sorry, I can't see anything. Blobfish gonna be going onto the tank with the Ramatra instead of the Diva here. Interestingly enough, and Wi-Fi and Fifi. Oh, they match. That's so cute. Wi-Fi and Fifi on the Mei and Cassie already. Moonglow and Dawn gonna be sticking over to that Juno Brig. Same thing with Macy and Noya. So Konata looks like they're gonna be staying onto the Junker Queen, and I'm really excited to see how they're gonna be able to showcase the Junker Queen against the Ramatra. I've heard it's a little bit difficult for JQ to really get in with the shield with Emphasis form, but I mean, as I said, she pulls Gnatfish right into the fray. Already with the aggression and turret form, the turret in the back does not help Gnatfish's case whatsoever, as they're forced to hold block for an eternity. The shield goes up and the Dawn can just simply stand here and poke down this this alleyway forever at the backline, who's starting to back up from the fight.
Yeah, and just the back and forth here between these squads. They're trying to pepper down the Ramatra, but it'll actually be Dawn getting the first pick.
And it's on Fifi of all characters. Without the Venture to be like your go person, that means that Shikigami has to really back up a little bit. And Sabotabi, maybe after you get the Dynamite on Wi-Fi, that's an even better way for Yachts to just start going into the fight. The Torb Hammer comes out for a second as Konata finishes off Gnatfish almost immediately. Wi-Fi making the pivotal swap to the Ashe to mirror Sabotabi.
And so now looking at these compositions, right, you're sort of, it's going to be a bit of a trade back and forth here, right? Both Ashes are going to be seeking positioning here, trying to find these off angles to get shots in. Meanwhile, though, you know, anytime that this Ramatra wants to engage, you don't think of the Torbjorn as being a threat, but there is a ton of damage in that shotgun outfire that has to be contested with. Otherwise, you know, you could see a quick death for the Ramatra.
And seeing a quick death, there goes Fifi once more on that venture. Just gets shut down immediately by Sabotabi on this Ashe. The Annihilation is ready for Natfish, but I doubt that, you know, she's gonna really want to push in yet. She's gonna wait for a wraparound, wait for our team to come back to the fray in order so they can do a full in push. Sabotabi a little bit too far in, forces the Hyper Ring out super early on, but the flanking Bob might be insane if that's what's gonna happen here.
It could indeed, but you know, it is. The Sabotabi's making themselves known here on the side, but still there's no real contest coming towards it, and now with already Moonglow investing into this fight, this might actually be just a free flip for Shikakami.
It's going to be, because again, no one really looking at Sabotabi able to find Moonglow before the fight even really begins, and the Torb ultimate on the floor makes it so that, you know, Shikakami couldn't really walk for too long. And now it's just Natfish once more on the objective by themselves, and it gets flipped right back to Ayas.
And it's a beautiful disengage from Ayas there, right? Willing to give up the point, knowing that they can't play into the orbital strike, or the orbital ray rather. So now they're going to not only get the point flip back over, but they have plenty of tools to work with here. They have their Bob online still. Sabotabi never threw it out, as well as this Rampage. There's no cleanse on the other side, so whenever this strikes Shikakami, it's going to be a massive thorn in their side.
I mean, with the rally being called out, as well as the double Bobs, and the Rampage from Kunoichi should ideally be better for Ayas in the long run, and it absolutely will. The Bob dips the other Bob. Kunoichi is fighting everyone by themselves. The Dynamite from Sabotabi burns down Fifi faster than they could ever get a cryo out, and that's gonna be the objective secured for Ayas.
You know, one thing that I feel like is important to mention here, while yes, other characters like the Reaper and the Mei could technically help deal with the frontline pressure of a Ramatra a little bit better, the aura of the Dong on Torb right now is something to be studied, because it doesn't feel that powerful, right? We were sort of just joking, thinking it would just sort of be a meme pick, but no, being able to place these turrets in off angles, right? All of a sudden you're looking at a turret that allows Sabotabi to find these openings with the Ashe, allows Dong on the Torb to also fire in these shots here, so it's amazing play coming out from Ayas right now. Shikakami, they're switching to some Junker Queen style of their own here. They're going to have the Genji in play though instead here, so this composition, while it is a bit better in the mirror, I think it's going to be crucial that somebody focuses down that Torb turret before Shikakami can really engage.
Especially for Fifi's sake, right? You know, Fifi can't really do much if the turret is just kind of, you know, blowing them up a little bit in the back line. But at the same time, this higher ground from Sabotabi can be in full control here. As I say, it gets completely pulled away from Fifi, and Wi-Fi finds both Macy and Sabotabi before the fight really starts here. And already Shikakami in a beautiful spot. Having that objective control already is so good for them.
It's absolutely great for them right now. And this is what Shikakami needed to do, right? It's a good adaptation from them. So now Ayas is going to have to find a good way to respond, but they already used their shout just coming out of spawn here, so it'll be a few moments before they can get a proper engage going again. But actually, no longer a shout. The Zarya is on the field here to try to help deter this Genji and apply this bubble whenever these dives come in. Interesting strategy.
Big fan, but two queens going at it, Zarya and JQ, you hate to see it. The Carnage already being utilized really early on there, and with the knife not being utilized. There's the Carnage right there on the back line. The knife also for that extra bleed damage, but you have a fully charged Zarya in your face. What are you gonna do about it? It's gonna be Fifi, as you had mentioned earlier. A quick answer from Konato, shutting down that DPS, and now JQ Queen, completely by her lonesome, gets whiplash away by Noya, and now the rest of the team of Shikakami have to back up away from Ayas.
They have to run, but there's just a high charge Zarya waiting for them as they're running for their lives here. And I mean, look at this. As you chase the spawn, there's already a Graviton online. I promise you, Shikakami is not going to be expecting this in the slightest here. So probably going to see the Shikakami try to play a little bit aggressive, potentially invest the orbital ray first as their sort of go button into this fight. But this Graviton holding everyone together could be a massive thorn.
It probably will be, especially for Fifi on that Genji, or even a Bob. Like, if you catch it out lacking, it'd be great. But Bob put all the way in the backside of this objective. The Great is gonna be finding the DPS and the tank of Shikakami, and they go down immediately. Macy's torpedo is coming in, finishing off Fifi, and again with the backline split up from the front line of Natfish, it's so easy to pin them down and make sure they both go back to spawn immediately. Almost lapping in percentages now, 51% on the board for Ayas with the orbital ray and rally for the backline ready to be unleashed.
It's ready to be unleashed, but you know, on the other side of things, right, this Rampage is online for Blobfish as well as their own rally from Dawn to sort of help try to mitigate this flow. But yeah, oh yes, definitely sitting at a very powerful advantage right now. It's just a matter of, you know, Shikigami, they have to kind of play quickly, right? They can't give oh yes this time to build up their energy once again, otherwise Zarya is going to continue to do massive amounts of damage while they die to the rest of the team.
Okay, there goes the Torb ultimate coming through, puts a lot of pressure on the entryway of this objective, and the Rampage does get expended. Sabotabi couldn't recall out of the bleeding and anti from that Rampage, but the rest of the team of oh yes, they just explode. It's really just nobody else left on that objective besides really the tank here, and the stagger is going to be impeccable. Beautiful bubble coming in from Konata, but the Zarya pick here, I mean, it was very well deserved.
Ooh, I mean, the Tracer was able to get a recall touch, and there's rally armor here. If they can stall this out, Shikigami can get the blade, and especially if Dawn missing out, it's going to be difficult.
Get the blade out, but is it going to be enough? Noya pops open with that rally as a way to, you know, negate Fifi's advantage with that Blood Dragon Blade, and they go completely down for the count. The last minute ball swap, Noya is just making sure ball gets absolutely no value. Great shield bashes, great whip shots. That was just amazing play from Ayas, taking it 2-0 on Samoa and 1 point on the board.
I mean, oh yes, you know, we talked about it. They definitely are warm coming into this game. Shikigami kind of has to wake up a little bit, and while they played better on the second round, ultimately they sort of just ended up getting caught like a deer in headlights, right? There just was too much for them to try to break through and knock out of the way in terms of the ult bank, in terms of just what they were up against. But you know, there's a reason these series aren't one map long, so there's plenty of time for a bounce back, for some discussion to occur here. But oh yes, they're currently looking like they just want to keep their foot on the gas and keep it going.
And speaking of keeping your foot on the gas, I mean, there's a couple of maps that do help you, help aid in that aggressive approach that they are taking with either the JQ, with the Ram, or with the Zarya that they have been showcasing already. We have a choice. We have the choice of Blizzard World, we have the choice of King's Row, Numbani, and Paraiso. Earlier today, we did see Paraiso, we saw a little bit of King's Row, and I feel like momentum, when it comes to momentum, King's Row, especially second point into third, can be so snowbally that I feel like it would work perfectly to how Ayas is playing. But since this is Shikigami's pick, they might want to slow it down a little bit, might want to find those higher angles to allow Fifi and Wi-Fi to really cook with the Ashe and the Genji. So maybe something like a Numbani angle might be really good. Those high grounds very oppressive on that first choke. And if anything, it's a lie actually. We're going to King's Row anyway. Going to King's Row.
I was gonna say, if a team willingly picked Paraiso earlier, somebody needs to check on their mental health. That's all. That's my personal opinion on that matter. But yeah, King's Row, it's the bread and butter here. Teams, they really do shy away, right? Because, you know, you talked about it with this map pool, right? Numbani and Paraiso both are very good, like, dive maps, right? If you want to try to change it up, change the tempo in a very forceful way, that would have been the place to go. But clearly Shikigami, they're not comfortable with that sort of lineup, and it's natural, right? A lot of teams practice these brawl variants and things of that nature, especially nowadays with how many sort of brawl metas we've been stuck in, right? It feels a little bit more comfortable, so they're going to force the King's Row here. But oh yes, I mean, they're probably going to feel just as comfortable here. It will be interesting to see if there's any specific comp switch ups, right? I feel like the defense is going to be able to play more of that Ashe potentially on these high grounds throughout King's Row and do a lot of damage that way, versus, you know, on the offense, right, you're not going to have those same angles open to you. So you may have to play something more, you know, standard, like a Cassidy or potentially even a Hanzo, just to try to really find some obscure angles to come from.
Absolutely. And with King's Row defense side, we could be seeing the Ram come back, or even, I doubt they're gonna go JQ, but I do like JQ comps in general. I think they're really, I think JQ's playing with or against them is really fun for everybody. she's just a fun character. She's a very great character, but looks like we're gonna be going a little more towards what has been considered meta, or at least the strongest picks is gonna be the Ramacha from Konata coming through on the defense side of things. The Dong is sticking with the Torb. I respect it, and Sabotabi going to be going over to that Widow to put a lot of a pressure on the choke on open spaces and things like that that people like Fifi, maybe Wi-Fi can't really do until Wi-Fi goes over to their own Widowmaker. So a little bit of Widow duel here. Moonglow teasing the Iyari. Definitely teasing. Goes back to the Juno almost immediately. But the Juno Ana versus Juno Brig, I'm very excited to see how that's gonna differentiate these two comps together.
Yeah, Juno Ana is very interesting comp. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan on it compared to the Juno Brig because it does kind of leave the Ana as a susceptible target. But maybe on the offense you can play it a little more in some favorable positions and don't get run down here. But with the Mei in tow, this is what I like, right? Fifi's going to be able to get these walls like this. That'll help isolate him.
And it's like that. Sabotabi finds Dawn to Dusk almost immediately on a sitting duck for that Widowmaker sightline. So it kind of forces Shikigami to back up a little bit on their attack side. And as I say that, man, Fifi just runs it right down on Sabo. Says, okay, I'll do it myself. And that allows, Shikigami to start this attack phase. Fifi going for the rotation of all time, blocks off the rest of the team of Yes from carrying Konata there. And finally, maybe we can get a little bit of healing, a little bit of sustain, and Konata absolutely does. Pops a Ram Nemesis form to retake that armor back, but again, we're completely blocked off. We're off into the hotel room of King's Row, and at this point, I don't know how Konata hasn't died yet. Instead, finds the kill on Natfish, and now suddenly the tides are turned on Fifi.
Yeah, after giving up a tick, it is a 4v4 situation, though. Your Widow is missing here. These walls have been good from Fifi, but yeah, the sound of retreat is coming out now. That being said, heading towards our next fight, right? Both teams either have or are close to that orbital ray, so it's going to be a lot of healing, a lot of extra damage boost, but also Fifi, with a Blizzard online already, could catch teams off guard by just not being expected, but I don't know if the Torb should be there.
And also, there's a Juno ult coming from Macy, and the Blizzard from Fifi is generational. Finds Konata, shuts them down immediately, and that's the second tick, possibly even the third tick, with no one to contest. It's gonna be about a 4.5 minute time bank here for the side of Shikigami to ride this payload down the streets of King's Row. And the Dong is still getting chased by Fifi, but not for long. The superior hitbox of Thor makes sure that Fifi does not get that shot on him.
And this is where, you're seeing the value of something like a Mei versus the Torb, right? Don't get me wrong, Torb can put out a lot more damage than the Mei, but not only that wall ability to sort of tie people off and separate the team, but then also just being able to heal yourself with the cryo and then also just put out massive amounts of damage, build those blizzards quickly. It's such a great tool, but Alias making a little bit of a swap, and Orisa is on the field here now with a Molten Core.
And the dynamite on the higher ground, it finds Sabo. Oh, and it gets burnt and completely put down by Natfish. The rally coming in from Roya is huge, but the payload is still moving forward, so the amount of space that Oyas is giving up to Shikigami is monumental. And now we're walled off. Can we find our way out? We absolutely do. The vortex can be expanded, but it does not deter Noya whatsoever. But I mean, Shikigami is taking this momentum in their favor. Boom, there's the nano on the Nemesis form Ram running at me. And suddenly, we're so split up. Konata finds Moonglow in the fray, and Sabotabi gets the one-off on Wi-Fi, but Natfish is coming back to defend the team once again against Konata, who has been a tear on this Orisa. And jeez, just finds not one or two, but three, and now hiding the headbox. Very smart. Fifi gets shut down immediately.
Yeah, a Juno chunking heals into an Orisa like that. I mean, you see how powerful it is, right? As long as you're able to trade out your abilities and not have to burn them in a very short manner, it allows Orisa to actually weather the storm of Ramacha's, humble form there. So it is just an extra factor to have in these fights. That being said, Dong is officially off the Torb for the first time, over to the Bastion now. So immediately in response to Shikigami, they're going to be going over to the Sigma to try to help mitigate some of this Bastion, both with the shield and the kinetic grasp. It's going to be crucial. My biggest fear though is where this Blizzard's gonna end up from Fifi, because this is going to be massive time and again.
Ooh, and even more massive is Sabotage just choosing to, you know, play out of their minds on the Hanzo. The Dawn going over to the Bastion, and interestingly enough, right, and that fish now is transitioning over to the Sigma. That Candid Grasp is so good at kind of shutting down Bastion for a little bit there, but at the end of the day, the force of the Yaz, the burst power, is so much better than Shikigami's. Now they can hold this angle for a while, but Dragons is ready, and they're gonna let it loose at very soon, I think.
I mean, letting it loose is going to be crucial here, especially as we're just seeing more and more space being taken by Shikigami, but they don't realize the Bastion's behind them!
The flanking Bastion goes absolutely insane. The land is expended so early on by Dawn 2 Dust. There's a Terror Surge coming out. Nobody finds absolutely nothing but the Mei wall, but does not deter Konata whatsoever as they start pushing up throughout that corner, and honestly trying to wrap around the side of Shikigami as they're being pushed all the way back, but someone trying to find a Brock. There it is on the Hanzo, and beautiful peel from Mason. Make sure that Sabotabi does not go down like that. Ooh, big flux coming in. Does it find anyone? It's gonna be finding our Juno. Couldn't get out there in time, but we survive at the end of the day from our Brig.
And now there's just Blobfish behind, able to actually get a pick onto the Orisa here, which could be massive and starting to snowball some momentum for the offense here, but it really is taking a lot, and there's definitely going to be another fight. But they don't realize the Hanzo!
Oh my goodness. Hanzo just has, like, you know, very light footprints. I don't know what to tell you. You can't hear them. But Sabotabi on the Hanzo has been an absolute tear. There's also the Dragon Strike here that really separates the Gnatfish for a second away from the side of the team. The Dong forced to use that turret form, and then the Secretion Rock finds the Dong up on that high ground. They've lost their burst damage. They now have expanded the window, and the side of Shikigami is trying to push right through with that rally, and it works. We run down Dawn to Dusk, and Gnatfish can be able to find this Mega Pack before they're able to be negated here on their Orisa, making a full wraparound. And there's a Bastion ultimate coming through. Now we're in overtime. A full 4.5 minute hold here. You're walled off. Gotta get out of there immediately. It's not breaking. Oh my god, it wasn't breaking because the shield was there. Such a great push from Shikigami here.
I mean, yeah, but Shikigami coming into point B with 4.5 minutes and having to drag it over the line in overtime is not what you want. But now, Konata actually switching to the Wrecking Ball here. I feel like this is, not going to say a throw, but this is a very interesting swap here. The Orisa able to survive through a lot of pretty much anything coming through, but now you're slamming in very alone. Nobody's really able to follow up on your damage unless your Hanzo can rain in these arrows, so have to see how this one works out.
Ooh, there's a flux, and it does find the backline here. It completely destroys Noya, and Sabotabi is much worse for wear. Macy finds their one on Mooncloak with the torpedoes and the ball pit from Konata just to stall for a little bit here, because ideally if you get this down to overtime, that's even better for Ayasa's own attack phase. The entire team is now back. We're all 5 in stat. Gonna be going for that pincer of 2 and 3 on one side and one the other. Oh! Fish is off the map.
My goodness, it's just the fight was over just like that. You know, I mean, this Wrecking Ball, it's changes like that really can help change the momentum of a match here. Now with a minefield that's going to hit Shikigami on their approach here, you know, but if Shikigami can make it to the payload, they have this freeze ready to put out for the rest of the team, but that minefield is going to be a deterrent.
And once again, my Sigma back into the lava. It's gonna be a hold here from Yas in the nick of time, thankfully. 2 points on the board, though. Shikigami, they can make it. They can do it on defense.
It's doable either way here, but I have to be a ball apologist. I fully believed that I was witnessing gameplay sabotage at the highest level, and the Wrecking Ball just absolutely went to town. You know, Fifi never even got a chance to throw out that Blizzard, so it really just left much to be desired there for Shikigami. But, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to wipe it off. You got 2 points to hold and then some decent progress into third. all you got to do is think about that now, and you're going to be able to do it with some pretty interesting defensive compositions here. They're going to start out at least on the Sigma for the time being. I like keeping the Mei as well, just because it punishes a lot of tanks still. Orisa's pretty much the only tank that can survive a Mei purely for the fact of Fortify existing. But that being said, on the other side of things, in the attacker spawn room, I can't see. That's the great thing with yes. You can't tell what's troll and what's not. Dong on Bastion, probably real. Sabotabi gonna start on the Widowmaker, probably real. But again, it doesn't seem to matter what they play. Their backline's just keeping them alive and enabling them to do as they please.
Oh, and we're sticking onto this ball. I doubt they're still in the spawn. Oh, they are sticking onto the ball. Okay, Konata was kind of like teetering between the spawn and like the entrance, and we're sticking to the ball, and I'm a big fan of it. And now, unfortunately, Natfish, a little bit separated, gets walled off a tiny bit by Fifi in order to make sure that they can come back to the team and get some care. But this energy coming in from Yas is huge, but even better is Wi-Fi making the executive decision to go to that Sombra. He's putting a lot of pain in Konata's backside as well as Sabotabi. But still, no kill is really taken quite yet. The shield can be broken, can be forcing the grasp here, so Sigma only really has one cooldown, that being of course the Accretion Rock so far. And the fact that the Dong is taking this far back means that he's so safe from being killed by Shikigami. But as I say that, Wi-Fi can be finding the virus on Sabotabi, and Macy can be falling down right after the fact by Wi-Fi, who this Sombra is just an amazing pick here. Just makes everyone's life so much harder.
The Sombra, it does actually, actively make everything more difficult here. As you saw, the Widowmaker's already been given up. Everybody just resetting in the spawn here, and Kanata's actually going to go over to the Ramatra now. So it is a bit of a tank rock, paper, scissors here. So now Natfish finds themselves at the disadvantage, but you're already building towards these ultimates. Look at this already. Fifi having this Blizzard could be a massive impact into this next fight, whereas yes, they really don't have anything to show for themselves just yet.
Ooh, big Blizzard, and my guy Konata could not get out of there in time, but the shield going up might have been the same play that kept them alive even after such a devastating ultimate like Blizzard can be. Kinetic Grass can be expected to be used here, and there's a Flux as a response to that satellite, to the orbital ray coming in from the side of Yas. Macy gets hacked, but it looks like Shigami is going to be winning the fight here. There's a lot of blue in that kill feed, and a lot of red coming out on top.
Lots and lots of red indeed. This defense is starting to look really nice for Shikigami. Because now, heading into this next fight, they're going to have the EMP online as well as that rally to match yes on their offense here. Really, I mean, this is just Shikigami's fight to lose in theory, right? Just being able to EMP the core. They're all going to be staying grouped up anyway with this Orb Ramatra. It's just a matter of hitting them all.
EMP is ready, and there it is. It's let out immediately. The rally also made for sustain on both ends here has to be utilized. But Konata still had there behind his corner, just a wall between them, and that's all that she wrote. Fifi finds the div here on Konata, and this timer has ticked down from 3 minutes of a push to now almost less than 1 minute. Wi-Fi has been a great Wi-Fi Sombra has been honestly probably the most pivotal changes that Yas has that Shigami has made to their lineup here. Now with a minute to spare, they have the one core, they have the pulse bomb. Will it be enough? Will the annihilation be enough?
I mean, that's really going to be the question here, but the Molten Core is going to start this fight as it just keeps going.
Oh, someone's finds Wi-Fi with the pulse bomb. That's absolutely humongous. A large portion of that attacking front line from Shigami has now just been completely wiped down on the floor. The Dong able to find Phoebe as well as a late kill, and there's a lack of a touch coming in from from Shigami. They're gonna have to back up, go to alleyway, but Yas is going with the aggression, knowing they have their Matra Annihilation in the back end of things and the Juno speed ring just to help out things.
I mean, just to help things, it's already going with the Annihilation here. This fight just keeps on happening while the Brig is on payload, but it seems like the zone does work for the time being here as this payload is going to get to rolling. Shikigami can choose to re-engage though. They have the Blizzard, they have the Scrivitic Flux, they have all the tools to make it work. They just have to actually make sure that they follow through and get the kills with these ultimates.
you're right. Flux is ready, and there it is. Does it find anybody? It's gonna be finding a Torb in that little building there, and it's also Fifi going down. The Dong able to get a little bit of a lick back after the Flux has been expended on them. And Konata just punching Natfish down. Very one easy team fight coming in from Yas. And suddenly they were about to be completely full held on first, but now they have the space to move around in. They're starting to really ramp it back up.
Yeah, it would be one thing, right, if Shikigami hadn't invested, but the fact that there was that heavy of an invest and they came up with nothing there is absolutely crazy. Now, Sabotabi going to be lurking in the stairwell, able to connect a Pulse Bomb into the backline, probably where they're least expecting. Shikigami, they kind of have to go fast. They have to find value with this Blizzard before this goes through.
And there's a Pulse Bomb on Dante. Simply couldn't get out of the nick of time, forces the Blizzard to be expended. And it does find Konata, but not for too long at the very least. It's gonna be the Molten Core that shuts down Natfish on the Sigma, just simply couldn't get out of there in time, and nothing makes a team come together than a man Ice Block.
Nothing makes them come together. I mean, hey, listen, you could put that on a mug or something. That sounds like a quote right there. But yeah, it's just been crazy, right? Shikigami coming into these fights time and again with ult advantage, but they're not actually able to convert it into fight wins. You know, so many times we've seen that Flux get whiffed. Now Blobfish going over to the Ramatra themselves, but at a significant disadvantage here. It's just absolutely crazy heading into this next fight here. You're probably going to see the annihilation from Kanata, and Shikigami's going to have to make sure to kite, otherwise this could be the map.
It might be here, especially as we did lose the turret from the extra little bit of spray damage is not going to be available to set up. Yes, but you know what it is? It's going to be this annihilation. And yeah, we use the rally on both ends here, but is it going to be enough? No. Wait, that's going to be it. They're about to touch. It's becoming for the Pharah, but the turret has pretty much been uncontested. An honorable 6th player. Yes, taking Kings Row in their favor and taking a 2-0 in the series.
Take the 2-0 for our round robin group 3. Oh yes, you know, we talked about it. They were coming in hot and they showed exactly why. So now with another win under their belt here, they're just going to, you know, just another day at the office for them. Some unorthodox comps they were able to show off and flex about with, but you know, on the other side of things, Shikigami, you know, they probably definitely feel rattled, but hey, that's the great thing about round robin. It's just round robin. You don't gotta sweat it just yet. You got all day tomorrow to figure things out.
You're right. You know, round robin is just, you know, it's a little fun, and at the end of the day, not the worst thing in the world. There's not too many teams entered for this, so it's gonna be just the top 4 teams that really do make it out of the round robin stage with some pretty good scores. So I wouldn't really sweat it, especially against a team like All Yas, who are really good at the end of the day. You know, Shikigami is also really good, but I think today All Yas just had a little bit of an edge. They were able to get that aggression, like I said, the aggression that they were finding value with on second point Kings Row after almost being held all of first point. Once they were into the streets, they were just rowing and rolling it down against Shikigami, and unfortunately it just seems like they couldn't really match and or de-stress the situation to make their tempo a little bit slower. It just couldn't do it, and it's okay. It's really not the end of the world. It's just round robin. Mickey Mouse stages.
Yeah, no. Trust me, as somebody who played last Kunoichi, I'm here to tell you, like, you just brush these off. As long as you're gonna have a good enough standing to get into the bracket stage tomorrow, that's all you have to worry about. And a team like Shikigami, I mean, I haven't gotten the chance to look at their score, but I promise they're probably doing A-okay. This is a very good squad. But hey, that even gives more credit to All Yes on the other side of things, right? To be able to dismantle this very good squad in such a dominant fashion here, again, across a variety of different compositions. Very good looks for them as we're heading throughout this weekend. And I mean, oh yes, you know, they're obviously going to be one of the teams to watch.
Absolutely, but before that, I believe we are going to be going to a very quick little break as we get our 4th and final round ready for the stream. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours.
And we are back with our next match of the day for Kunoichi Kosmos and a open division. We had just seen the 2-0 victory from Ayas versus Shikikami, and now we're going to be going into our final round for the stream, our round 4 between Miss Ruby and Re-Up.
Yeah, final round for stream, trying to get this match underway, because you know these teams, they still got one more to play after. Lots of round robin happening here on Kunoichi Kosmos. But hey, listen, Miss Ruby, Re-Up, they're both, you know, still looking for those spots for tomorrow, and I'm sure they're ready to get it going.
They absolutely are, and you know, both teams, I believe, if you're looking at like things like the check-in and announcements channel, they have been going pretty well for both teams here. Miss Ruby doing pretty well in their previous rounds. I want to say they had just 2-0'd, excuse me, no, they were defeated by Red Velvet in the round 2, but in round 2 they did 2-1 6 cents. And for the side of Re-Up, they just went against Shikikami for that round 2, and Shikikami, that's where they did win. Shikikami versus Re-Up, they got 2-0'd by them. So Re-Up a little bit low right now, but honestly, both teams pretty even in terms of their scores. You know, Re-Up also being up against Red Velvet, so very similar here. But looks like, you know, I think Re-Up having the win against Red Velvet, but Miss Ruby having fallen victim to that team, low-key might be giving Re-Up a little bit of a advantage here for Re-Up, especially as now we're going into round 4. We're starting off on Nepal, and that is that's probably one of the most scrimmed maps besides Lijiang. So everyone knows how to play this. Everyone's probably gonna play. I've seen the Sigma. The Ram will go really crazy here, especially in those outdoor areas. And we go back into the temple. That's gonna be where like Sigma comes back into the fray a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, as we just take a quick look at our lineups, you know, we got to see all these lovely players. We got to see them just, you know, how pretty and ready for these games they are. We're going to look at Miss Ruby first. We have Kaisicle and Eevee on that DPS line. D-Clan being the ever-reliable tank, and Veli and Twink, you know, I was gonna say these are all normal. They were all normal names, but it wouldn't be a Kunoichi event if we didn't have some interesting names. Shout out to the Observer that I know has an account named Mommy's Femboy. I remember you. But yeah, I mean, listen, reliable squad right now. There's a lot of teams in that sort of middle of the pack situation, currently sitting 1 and 2. So a win here, you know, could be massive. Even taking maps could be the decider between who makes that bracket stage tomorrow. But you know, they're not the only team in this match, Mod.
They're not. Let's make a little transition over to Re-Up's own team here in order to see who will be versing Miss Ruby. Re-Up gonna be seeing Kindred, Zoe, and H-Key on that front line, especially with Kindred, who does love Junker Queen. I have remembered seeing them in previous tournaments, especially Calling All Heroes. AJMR and Wicca, of course, in that back line. Wicca being a Brigitte, you know, lover. I love that for you, bestie. So I'm probably gonna be seeing that, you know, backline coming in from AJMR and Wicca and Kindred. I really hope we see more JQ. I really love JQ. I mentioned it earlier. I love JQ whenever she is even viable as a tank. Not quite hard meta, but whenever she's like, oh yeah, so that's an option. Go ahead, play JQ. It's always a very fun time. So how these comps are going to be going into something like Nepal, very interesting to see indeed, especially if, you know, we see the JQ on something like the big tower. I unfortunately forgot the name of it, but with the tower in the middle, that one's humongous for a JQ for that brawl. So hopefully we see their teams coming in very soon here as we start getting ready for this Nepal match.
Absolutely, and you're talking about it across Nepal. There is room for a variety of different compositions once you're outdoor on the shrine. You tend to see a little bit more brawl, but other comps have worked, right? There's a little bit of high ground to play along if you want to set up an Ash or something like that. Then once you're inside of the sanctum, there's so many boop opportunities. You want to bring that Lucio back out, or hey, as I was proven wrong last match, the Wrecking Ball can definitely still knock people around that map. And then finally, of course, you have the village where it doesn't matter what the meta in
doesn't
Overwatch
matter.
it doesn't matter what the meta in Overwatch is at the time. If you're not playing a Mei with some sort of brawl tank and harboring yourselves inside of the point, you're playing the map wrong. That's my opinion. It's so good for that. Mei's wall perfectly fills one of the two doorways into point, so you truly can just bunker down in there and just dare the other team, hey, go ahead, approach us. I want you to, and they just wait for those opportunities time and again.
Absolutely. I mean, Mei and Sim were made for Village, right? But that's ideally we even go there first. And you mentioned Sanctum, for example, which again, pretty favored. I feel like. Who's mirroring me on Brig? Oh, Bay? I love that for us. Keegan and Wicca looking like they're gonna be going for that Brig. But ideally, everyone's kind of on the Brig, Juno, so you'll always get that mirror. The beautiful thing is, we are going to be seeing Kindred on that JQ against the Kwan's Ramatra. So we saw this matchup a little bit earlier, really just the previous round, and the JQ had a kind of had a really great time against the Ramatra, kind of going evading that shield. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to be folding out, especially as Kaisicle and Zoe are going to be kind of duking on the backline, and Zoe now with no cooldowns might have to fall down immediately, gets completely punished by Miss Ruby and their PO factor. That's amazing for them. But re-up, I mean, AJMR getting Kaisicle with torpedoes is honestly monumental.
Exactly, so now while this point is just waiting to be unlocked here, both teams still just holding a little bit of space in a very savage fight. The HP going in on the Genji here. Going to be looking for more and more of that cleanup.
They're pushing super far in on that left side, forcing Miss Ruby, I'm sorry, not Miss Ruby, forcing Re-Up to play a little bit slower, but H-Key finds the first pick on Kaisicle, and there it is. Re-Up is just pushing Miss Ruby all the way back towards their spawn, and now we're making some pivotal swaps here, going for the Mei, going for that Cassidy, and Eevee has to be a little bit careful how they approach, as the team of Re-Up is still there, but AJMR floating a little bit too long in that area.
A little bit too long here as we're just looking towards this next fight. Already Miss Ruby is pushing into this, but they're already being met at the door with a blade.
And is it big? It's gonna be catching Eevee as well, and it's completely done now. Re-Up finds the team fight in a couple of seconds.
And that team fight over before you know it, and that's one of the great things with that Juno speed ring, right? Being able to just sort of help your Genji or anybody that wants to move fast get in and out quickly here. So now Miss Ruby again on another approach here. I don't know if they're going to be ready for the Junker Queen Rampage they're pushing into, but already actually with a rallying engage.
And the JQ ult just to negate it a little bit here. And is it going to be enough? The damage, the bleed effect is amazing, and it finds Twink and Keegan. But will it find the rest of the team? Zoe going really low there as well as Eevee, but Zoe able to find a little bit of PO factor from the team here. And now it's really just Declan who tried to contest a little bit, all for nothing, still in favor of Re-Up.
Yeah, and so now you're heading towards final fight territory. Re-Up still has plenty of tools to work with, and they're looking for even more picks actually. Sending themselves to the spawn doors here in a very interesting way. I don't even know if Miss Ruby can get a touch towards this point, and it sucks because they have so many ults to work with.
And that's one of them right there, and two of them even this. Oh, we're just popping ultimates here. Oh, another one has hit. We have gotten the Blizzard out as well from Kaisicle and the Deadeye. That's all 5 ultimates expended for Miss Ruby, and it wins him a team fight, sure, but will it be enough at 99%?
I mean, that's going to be the question, right? As Zoe is still in the backline, able to remove Keegan here, and probably be able to get some level of escape as the Venture is just burrowing underground. Meanwhile, while everybody's back here chasing, sure, you get the pick on the Zoe. Now the point's being pressured again, and, there's nobody there to stop it.
Oh, we have now made the pivotal swap to the Reinhardt. I see. We're cooking, clearly. Big deflect coming in on Eevee, gets a little bit of damage put back on themselves, and Mr. B has now gotten a lot of control on this point, spacing-wise and positioning-wise. But Kindred gets completely fooled a little bit and gets completely negated by Declan punching right through that big old shield. Zoe just there to contest as we have made it back over to 99, but the Vortex on the berry, very smart from Declan, just kind of shuts down Zoe's disengage.
And that'll be a beautiful stagger onto Wicca there in the end. And, you know, that's actually a phenomenal way for Miss Ruby to sort of come back into this one. They definitely were at a disadvantage here, but now Re-Up approaching for their next fight. The only hope for either squad is this Dragon Blade, but for some reason, you know, they're on off angles.
But the Dragon Blade does connect against Kaisako, and we do get the peel off as well. Able to kind of secure a little bit of picking up on the side of Re-Up, and they're able to recontest again with Kindred again, staying onto this Reinhardt. Gets a fire check on Declan, and without your tank, the shatter is monumental on Eevee, as we have a last minute contest from Kaisako on the Tracer, but it's not gonna be for long. You see everyone else so far back. It's not gonna happen at all. And the rally, just to put a little bit of pressure on the side of Miss Ruby, it is a 100% to 48, just shy of 50%.
And it sucks because Miss Ruby, don't get me wrong, they earned that 50%, but it just felt so... It, like, while they were winning fights here and there, sure, it definitely did feel more like Re-Up was toying with their food a little bit, right? Sort of pushing way too deep, trying to, you know, we had that whole arc with Zoe being stuck in the enemy spawn and everybody going back to chase her down, but... I mean, hey, looking forward here, we are on Village. Neither team actually has the Mei selected for the time being, although we do have some Sims. So it's going to be all about sort of ramping them up to that level 3 Photon Beam to try to help deal some damage to these massive HP pools. As well as dealing some damage, you know, something to highlight. Wicca is now off the Brig. Sad for you, but over to the Ana.
Very interesting indeed. Love the Ana, love the pin there, even better. Wait, we're cooking. We are cooking, and the LOL in chat, yeah, Kindred know they cooked here. Absolutely cooked. And the first point looks like it's gonna be going right over to Re-Up's favor, as if it was just falling into their hands.
I mean, like, this is how you tell if somebody's playing with their food, right? When the Reinhardt comes out, because Ryan can be a fine character nowadays, but like when you're doing pins like that, that is just the overconfidence of someone who thinks they can do no wrong right now. So Miss Ruby, now with a swap over to the Ana themselves, is going to have to try to, you know, put some pressure into this.
Put a lot of pressure on Kindred, in fact, yeah, and the Hyper Ring out, maybe to help sustain, but I mean, my Go over here taking a 2v1 by themselves, AJMR, allowing Kindred to kind of fall down there, the high ground now being taken over by Eevee, and pretty much the rest of Miss Ruby here as well. Kaisako finding a lot of value on H-Key, sorry, and on AJMR, forcing Re-Up to really back up and reconvene as a team.
And Kaisako, like you highlighted, on that flank, and that's exactly what you need your Tracer to do, to sort of be able to be the pressure. And now Keegan actually getting one in the Ana duel, faring a little bit better here. Actually, some more staggers back and forth here. As Miss Ruby, they're going to be able to probably build up towards matching percentages here. As, why is the Juno flanking? What am I looking at?
Let's go.
Oh, it's not flanked. They're on this side of the map. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the post bomb is ready for Kaisako, and ooh, they're gonna be looking for maybe the Juno, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. H-Key finding not one, but both the supports for pretty much free value. AJMR, I love that the kind of aggressive Juno they do kind of play here, and put a lot of value for them for the side of Rhea, but a little bit, maybe a little too aggressive. Zoe not able to get the care needed against Kaisako, and being down one, not the most horrible thing in the world.
No, it is not here. So now heading towards this next fight, it's going to be pretty heavy ults that can be invested from either side. Really only Kindred lacking in the ult department, dedicating that shatter to Declan's face in that last one here. But yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see just how this goes, especially with the push from the Cowboy.
And the push is insane. Honestly, just shuts down H-Key from being able to build up a barrage. And now Eevee able to really play however they really want without any big contesting coming in from Re-Up. The objective is still going in favor of Re-Up as it starts going towards around 75%. Deadeye is ready for Eevee. And will they pop it? Oh, my Juno all the way in the coast side of things. Eevee shutting them down. The barrage gets not one but two. It's gonna be a great team fight for Mr. Ruby as they flip it back over for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand the barrage investment there, as HK is going to finally pay for it. And it just seems like, again, Re-Up, they're not really respecting their opponent. They're going in a little too aggressively here. But Zoe's getting a massive...
Zoe finding the value on Venture the way Venture was meant to be created and played. Look at this, just kind of shoving the climb to the corner, couldn't do much. Keegan going in for a sneaky little gap in the chat. And that's gonna be the point. Flip right back over to Re-Up. Only 15% needed for Re-Up to get 2 points already.
Yeah, I mean, so this is Final Fight territory here. They have the Nano Boost as well as that Venture ult ready to go here, but, you know, if Miss Ruby can make their way over to the point, they do have some tools to work with. It's just about getting there.
And Zoe able to actually get away in time for the Anthony not to get too much value is amazing. Able to get the Tectonic Shock off is even better. Kaicycle does, you know, kind of put Kindred back into that spawn room, but the Clone has to deal with the full force of that Venture. The Pulse Bomb catches Zoe lacking a tiny bit, but it's all for nothing. Re-Up 2-0 in the in control and 1 point on the board.
I mean, Re-Up, they're, you know, very serious teams run Reinhardt Bastion on Nepal. That is what I will say here. But Miss Ruby was definitely sort of punishing, you know, in some of these fights here. They just couldn't get it done and lock it up in terms of a point here. But now they're going to get map pick heading into map number 2 and maybe hopefully trying to make a difference there.
Ideally, right? And we talked about a little bit about the pacing of our previous series where maybe King's Row would be really good for, you know, the very serious comp of Ryan and Bastion, right? Or, you know, or the Ryan and Venture. Ryan in general, very serious comp, right? But I don't know if we're gonna go to King's Row. If I was Miss Ruby, I wouldn't take Re-Up because their brawl is a little more consistent, a little faster, a little better than their Ram brawl here. So ideally, maybe, I mentioned it earlier, slow it down a little bit. Maybe not quite a Paradiso, not quite a Numbani, maybe a Blizzard Roll instead. It gives you a little bit of both to work around with.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there, right? Depending on what these teams want to run. You know, we saw pretty much Re-Up force a Brawl Mirror throughout all of Nepal. So maybe Miss Ruby could be more comfortable on that dive setup. They could take us to that Paradiso, that Numbani. You know, of course, we as casters, we're just like praying for a map that's not King's Row. I don't know about you, Mop, but I'm going to personally say teams pick King's Row all the time. It's boring. You can get creative. I promise there's other maps in the game that exist. But yeah, I mean, it really comes down to just sort of what Miss Ruby want to play. And the most important thing for them right now is to not lose confidence, right? I feel like when you're playing up against a team like Re-Up who's trying to disrespect you in this blatant way of just sort of picking meme heroes, you sort of still have to stand your ground against them. Otherwise, you know, this is how they're going to keep building momentum and building ego.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, mental is extremely important, but just got word that Blizzard World will in fact be our next map of choice over King's Row, Paradiso, and Numbani. So the pace is definitely slowing down a bit here. You have so much high ground control that you can have on first and second. Third point is a little bit more brawly. It's very enclosed, very short. So I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to be going in favor for Miss Ruby, as that is their pick of choice. So ideally, they don't fall victim to like their own map pick. I've seen it happen. We've seen it happen where you have a plan with picking a map and then it just like goes away.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, right? But I mean, Blizzard World, it does allow for some interesting little picks to come through, right? I feel like a lot of what you see, at least for first point, is the Sigma. Unless you're running some sort of brawl where you're looking for, you know, potentially some May walls, just some hard engages, you know, could be fun. I know we were talking about it earlier. We both love to see some Junker Queen in the action, especially with a speed ring from either of these Junos. But speaking of the Junos and our backline there was a point where both teams opted out of the Brig to protect their Junos, and both Junos then immediately got more aggressive, which is a very weird play style choice. But I mean, if that's an indicator of what these supports want to do, I feel like they're almost chained up, right? We got to let them loose. We got to see maybe the supports can be that difference maker in some extra damage.
Oh yeah, and I have to agree there where the supports, when they were able to, you know, not have to worry about super peeling for their Brig, super peeling for like their Ana maybe as well, they were just like, Juno, torpedoes, hit everyone in the map, we win. I love it. I love aggressive flex supports whenever they're able to play, or aggressive supports in general, because Juno can be played for by either, right? So, Disney Blizzard World, you have all this open space to really work with. So the Juno torpedoes would be so. Ideally, in my mind, they're gonna be so good here. But we're now loading into the map. Defense side, Ruby first, looking like a diva angle.
Yeah, I mean, a diva. Basically the idea here is probably just playing the different high grounds in this setup, right? The diva's going to be flying around, first being in the front line, trying to put pressure onto Rhea, but then, you know, going and pivoting wherever help is needed. That's always why you want to play the diva. Meanwhile, on the offense here, I mean, they still have time. They're in the spawn room. Some switches can occur, but Kindred hovering the Malga, actually, you know, probably one of the least favored tanks into Devo, right? That defense matrix can live through the entirety of the shout and things of that nature coming out from Kindred here. But it seems like they are leaving spawn. They have teleporter as well here. Teleported people forward before HP goes back over to that Genji. And again, there's just no brig, so AJMR are going to be aggressive.
Rhea gonna be aggressive, going up to the high ground, now putting a lot of pressure on Declan here on the diva, and where is he going? Where are we going? We went clear to the high ground. Keegan didn't even see it coming, gets run down by Zoe. Yeah, me too in the chat. These Maga players, absolutely unserious. Really great push from Rhea, Jesus.
I got out of my chair. I literally, I catapulted myself out of my chair in that. I didn't even know that was a rollout. That's confusing, and so that's just going to be a quick point A. And then Kindred's just going and switching immediately I've done my bit. I'm now back over to the Reinhardt. Meanwhile, it's just this craziness back and forth still. The Junkrat trying to do damage here, potentially a defense trying to hold in the spawn as they're just trying to look for picks.
Oh, I'm gonna laugh. And then we go Reinhardt after. Yeah, Kindred, you're a different breed, I fear. Absolutely amazing. But now we're cruising right through those streets, putting a lot of pressure on this choke area that the Clan should be able to persevere more often than the Reinhardt. We charge right in. Keegan on this high on the Life Weaver. I love this this area effect that they are taking here, but H-Key being the Genji can simply reach you up there and shut you down.
Just a massive shutdown here, and now coming from above. But the Dragon Strike actually going to kick off this fight again.
I can't believe Keegan actually lived throughout the entirety of that excursion, and it forces the baby diva a little bit of a slight stagger here. Really good for the side of Rhea, but horrible for Miss Ruby. Wicca on the Ana, the Anthony is going to be amazing, and that Nano coming in about 20% will also be a game changer for Rhea.
I mean, massive game changer here. And again, just Rhea, they're playing so aggressive. They're playing fast as the D here. What is it? What?
We're cooking. We're cooking. It killed Kindred. You got your one and you got the res? Yeah, you're up. You're up. It's going to be Mystery pushing in here and putting a lot of pressure on the side of Rhea. Now they really can't do anything. But, I mean, as I say that, they're getting cleared. They don't have a tank, but they're able to come right back and clean up even without their Reinhardt. They're at point 2 at 5.5 minutes.
I mean, yeah, the time bake says everything right now. And interesting that we're sticking. Okay, I was gonna say sticking to the Junkrat, but no, we actually do make the swap over to the Widowmaker. So now we're playing double sniper, and we already have the Juno ult out, but Keegan's missing.
And now the Widow from Eevee might be putting a lot of pressure again on the side of Rhea, and it does beautifully done from the from Miss Ruby in order to get back on the defensive side as the payload now goes around this corner on third. Oh, Nanoblade 2024! Nanoblade 2024! Does it get value? It gets 1? Does it get more? Do we get out even? No, we're going for the Widow instead.
We are currently watching Overwatch. That's what's happening. And now a Diva Bomb's being invested while the fight's already lost. Using the block. Yeah, I don't know. My brain is currently in the process of shutting down. There's some tomfoolery at play.
I mean, Doomfist is out right now, and oh wait, huge flank coming in from Keegan on Ana.
Oh my god, that's evil.
Oh, huge flank, monumental.
The typing in chat, knowing that they would stand still so you could come down in 5 orb. Oh my god. This match is so unserious right now, but you know what? It seems like everybody's having fun. That's all that matters, right?
The get a job insult is always my personal favorite, and Kaisago finds Kindred, even though they were pretty much getting died by Kindred that whole time. Here comes Zoe with the Tectonic Shock. Doesn't really find much. Eevee actually find the most value Miss Ruby has seen in a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, those massive Widow shots off the back of the Imprecise are massive here, as well as actually getting a late kill on the Kindred here so they can start whittling down at this massive time bank. Meanwhile, Keegan is just a little too deep, unfortunately, so this is just going to keep on going here. But it seems like Re-Up just wants to attack even without their Doomfist.
And they certainly can. Playing like this, allowing Zooey to get all this value is so good, and Eevee just whiffing narrowly these shots on AJMR, but finally finds the one they needed. The Transcendence is huge just to contest the cart, but after that, it pretty much is wrapped after this Deadeye. The objective hits 3 with 3 minutes to spare.
I don't know what just happened. They're like, Re-Up is currently just sort of playing as they please. AJMR has left the game, assuming that there was some sort of technical issue happening there. But yeah, I mean, it's just a very interesting matchup we have here. I'm still on first point. What was that Malga rollout?
It was the rollout of all time. No Doomfist rollout, no nothing will ever top that Malga rollout. And then we didn't even stay Malga. We swapped to Reinhardt. Like, whatever. On that entire Blizzard roll, I need the replay code. I need these names. I need police. I need jail time. Everyone's going to jail today. I'm taking hostages.
Yeah, believe it or not, just for you watching in Twitch chat, for all the viewers, you are actually guilty of the crime by association. So every single person will be imprisoned that way to not allow that Malgo rollout to escape. If I see anyone do that in my ranked games, I promise there will be not real threats, because we can't threaten people on Twitch, obviously. But, you know, in Minecraft, there may be a special package in your mailbox. You'll have to check in Minecraft, though. That's not on me. But yeah, as we are just waiting to see what happened to AJMR here, we're just having fun. Round robin number 4 of another Kunoichi tournament. We love Kunoichi.
I love Kunoichi. It's always okay. All my marginalized gender tournaments, Calling All Heroes, Kunoichi, all of you. I always get treated with like the funniest matches in the world. Always. This happened in Rising as well. And they're all friends. So there was teabagging, there was like funny talks. It was great. Any of this kind of stuff, there was just everything going on. So now that we are coming right back into the fray, it's gonna be Re-Up on the defense side of things, and now Miz having to tackle their attack.
I mean, tackling their attack is definitely some words for it here. Just some exchanges back and forth. Again, they're just, you know, these are very clearly friends, and that's the great thing about these the Kunoichi scene, the Calling All Heroes scene, is even when they're up against each other in tournaments like this, there is still a lot of camaraderie amongst the community. A lot of these players know each other. They've played together on random teams here and there. And that, you know, it's very wholesome. It's very heartwarming. That being said, this defense is going, or this offense rather, for Miss Ruby is going to have to, you know, do a lot in this matchup here. You know, could be Keegan on the Zen. That could be the answer. Some nice picks were coming throughout that round, but actually being able to deliver through on them is going to be important here, as H-Key setting up a Junkrat trap. I'm sincerely hoping that doesn't get anyone, simply because it's not even on the ground, it's on the bench.
Exactly. Now, here we go. Declan on the Winston, and you mentioned Declan on this on the Zenyatta. Wow! Just gets found out immediately and walks away in shame. HK can't even believe it, but now they come right back in to start spamming. But I mean, you get something immediately, you get discorded, you get antied, everything under the sun was just thrown at HK and Zoe's gonna be going straight in as well on the venture, and Eevee trying to find their one, but Zoe just able to find so much more value, and the Mega gets smacked away from Kaisicle at 30 HP. It's gonna be an easy peasy cleanup.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy here. Hey, look, the trap got someone.
My go Keegan.
Keegan discovered a trap, ASMR roleplay or something. But yeah, so now this dive is trying to set up once again here, but Deeklin's already gone.
And it looks like by Cassie maybe a little bit, maybe coming back a little bit too soon as well, but it really is looking a little bit like a wash for Re-Up in all seriousness. HK able to find their one on Eevee, but AJMR not able to stay alive long enough against Kaisicle, and honestly right now Re-Up is technically down right now, with Mr. B now finding Eevee back on the Widow, which had so much potential in that third objective. Very excited to see how that's gonna work for them. Oh, we missed. We missed.
I mean, hey, listen, now you're 4v4. This could be Ruby's chance on their offense here, pushing forward. Yeah, even more picks coming through.
Oh, I actually almost thought that Eevee was gonna win that for a split second. Probably would've gotten the flick off, but that's okay. Kindred. Oh, yes! What do you mean? What do you mean? We solo D.Va bomb the Ana.
Listen, however you have to remove the Ana from the fight as the dodge comes through in the chat, you know, but actually, you know, Miss Ruby is applying point pressure here, and Re-Up is gonna have to wait for their full squad to get back into this, but more picks coming through.
And the ball also coming in for a little bit of a last minute touch, and with about a minute and 45 seconds left on the clock here, it's definitely doable for Miss Ruby to maybe bring it back, but they're starting to be pushed back away from the objective. Keegan getting put all the pressure on, boom, and they're gone. AGMR now opting to go to the Moira, now with the Juno as well.
I mean, Moira is purely for, you know, survivability, right? You can't dive onto her as effectively. She has that fade ability, and as this fight gets cleaned up here, the defense able to reestablish themselves, but, you know, they did give away a tick in the progress, almost 2 for their trouble, and now heading into this next fight, you know, Miss Ruby, they have a Transcendence to help live, as the Ventures both decide to trade each other.
Now, hold on, Keegan coming in for the clutch assist, I fear. Here comes the Dragon Blade. And does it find anyone? It does find one. It finds AJ Mar before they can get the fade away. And there's a Transcendence. My Keegan is running to the point, leaving our Ana Twink back in the back line to be a victim of Kindred's ball. But not for long. We get a second tick on the board here. Is it going to be possible?
The second tick has come through, potentially almost a third here. And actually, with another pick on Zoe, it could do it.
My flanking Keegan, here we go. On the attack side, and the defense side thing instead of the attack side. My go. Do we find a Moira? We do find a Moira! Oh, AJMR execute away from this fight, and Wicca falling down right after the fact. That's gonna be a cap for Miss Ruby. 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock here.
Surely Zoe doesn't go for this alone against everyone. Surely you just sort of hide and then wait for your team to come back and re-engage. But Re-Up off the wrecking ball now. Kindred realizing maybe we have to take the team a little bit more seriously. Over to the D.Va to try to help mitigate here. And yeah, that payload, it hasn't moved an inch because there's just a Venture sitting on it.
We find the clown trying to go for the for Wicca here, but unfortunately the rest of his backline just kind of just dies. You know, Genji down, Eevee down. Keegan also down. It's a bloodbath around here. We had 2 minutes to spare. Oh, we're just admiring the water. You know what? Me too, Declan. Me too.
It's crazy. They just assaulted a poor man that was just looking at the water. He's Winston D. He's just looking out at the water. And now more picks are coming through. I don't know what's happening.
Me neither. There's a post bomb. Oh, huge. Surely. Oh, we whiff it. It whips. It goes completely wide. AJ Mar finds Twink for Twink with the Moira orb in the back area of everything. But now we're fighting on second. Like, almost on third.
Fighting on second, third. We're back on first with some characters. The payload hasn't moved. I don't know what's happening. Has Mist just been like, alright, we capped the point. We didn't expect to get this far. We're good with this. As Re-Up is now, yeah, they're just sort of pushing forward to hold the spawn.
I want to like flash that image of Plankton being like, I didn't think I would get this far. Yeah, this must be missed right now. And Evie, ooh, wait! Evie finds the pick on Zoe, on Zoe, but Kindred. I mean, the Diva against that backline of the Ana Zen, it's so strong, and the Diva bomb just to make sure that that no one can touch is great. Even then, the kind of shot from Evie, not being able to find Baby Diva.
Yeah, I mean, now you're just looking at more and more picks coming through from Miss Ruby. Now the question is, can they convert these as Twink for Twink goes off the map? I don't really know how that one occurred. But yeah, the payload is officially moving now for Miss Ruby here. For their offense, Deaklin is gonna go down. And now Kindred's back over to the Rhine. Oh my goodness, the Reinhardt's in play.
That's dope. We also have the Transcendence coming through as well from the side of Keegan. And unfortunately for Twink, I mean, you are on Lifeweaver, but that does not excuse— Hello! Does not excuse you from dying to the Pulse Bomb. This is great. Absolutely amazing. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that is all she wrote.
You know, I think both teams had fun. Why do we have the C9 graphic on? Well,
Nope.
I mean,
this is the— Yup. Keep that shit on. Oh, I'm sorry. I got too excited. Keep it up.
I feel like my brain is misplaced from a C9 right now. It's gone. Yeah, you know, Ma, you got this one. I'm kind of clocking out early for the day. I don't know.
It's gonna be re-up 2-0, 3-1 on Blizzard Road and 2-0 on Nepal. Oh my gosh, it was a treat. It was an absolute treat to see everyone today on the stream, but that is going to be our official conclusion of the Kunoichi Kosmos Day 1 round robins for the stream. All our players set the pips onto round 5, so that's going to be off stream, but you should keep a little tally in the bracket and make sure that, you know, see where all your favorites do end up. But that's going to be all we wrote. We're done for the night. Thank you, production. Thank you, Megalast, for joining me on the second half for NA Open.
Hey, listen, I appreciate it, and I of course have to say thank you, Mott, for doing all of the play-by-play today. Shout out here holding it down.
My throat. I have more after this, so I'm very excited. But at the end of the day, again, shout out to production, shout out to all of our observers as well, especially on a paintball. Y'all cooked, and shout out to all of our teams. You all played amazing. We will see you guys all tomorrow. For the top 4 and grand finals tomorrow night. So that will be all. Any last words, my glass free exit?
Don't play Malga in my ranked games. That's it.
Don't play Malga or Megalast. She's gonna come kill you. I promise you. But at the end of the day, that is it. Thank you everybody for your time. Thank you Twitch chat. Thank you everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.